Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. I am Brian Wilson, no longer half-hearted. I'm now sort of three-quarter-hearted, but we'll explain all that later. Glad to be back here after the day I had yesterday, which I will explain in great detail. It's odd, you know. You go to a place, you go to the doctor, and you have a little surgery, and you just have to laugh at these things. And so I'll tell you all about how that all went. And I am going to reveal to everyone just how ornery Cabana Wife really is.
I think we already know.
Yeah, well, if you've seen my social media page, you know. But it was pretty funny, I'll have to say. We got a lot of stuff to cover here right quick. This breaking news headline, let me see if I can get this one in here for you. The Biden administration has reached a deal to free Americans in exchange for jailed Iranians. 5 Americans to return home in a U.S.-Iranian prisoner swap. But if you listen to John Kirby a few moments ago, it's not a done deal just yet.
There are 5 of them. Not all of them want to be named, but they are now out of Evin prison. In fact, one of the 5 already was under house arrest, but we got 4 moved into house arrest today. We have been able to, through our Swiss representatives, get eyes on them, know that they are in fact in house arrest and out of prison, which is a good thing. And now we obviously want to do what we can to look after their health and well-being as best we can. So when they come home, we don't know. I mean, they are out of prison, which is a good thing, because Evin prison is pretty intolerable. Yeah, but they're not out of Iran yet. So we're still really at the beginning of a set of negotiations to try to get them home.
They've already secured a $6 billion deal. I mean, apparently they sent $6 billion that's going to be used, as they say, to Iran for humanitarian purposes. I don't know what the deal is here, but we're going to stay on it. I mean, it seems like they paid $6 billion to get them released to the Swiss embassy there in Tehran. But we'll find out more about this. It is breaking news, and as I would say, a very fluid situation. Now for 2024 election coverage, got a lot of stuff here. I mean, a lot of stuff that's happening. You're gonna think that. I'm leading with this because this guy agrees with me, and you're right. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu said Tuesday he believes that there is a very good chance that President Biden will not be on the ballot in the 2024 general election, and predicted how those events could unfold. Would you like to hear his thought? Chris Sununu, the Republican governor of New Hampshire, one of the states that you got to get to in order to win the nomination. Here is Chris Sununu.
I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I think there's a greater than 50% chance he's not on the ballot come November of 24. And you're going to see 2 things happen. Either he's going to go through the primary process effectively unchallenged. A year from now, he's going to collect all the delegates. His health is not going to be good. He can always use that as a reason to step out and basically tell all of his delegates to go for somebody else and kind of be the kingmaker. It wouldn't be unheard of for the Democrats to try to manipulate their convention that way. They've done that before. And the other opportunity is somebody comes in this fall. Now, I think if an opponent were to challenge him this fall, it's probably going to be a self-funder. It's probably going to be somebody with a little bit of name ID nationally, and maybe even someone who isn't a politician. I don't think any of the Democrat governors are going to stand up and do it this fall. They're probably just hoping to be coronated by Joe and Joe Biden next summer. But I'm predicting probably at least 1, if not 2 people still jump in this fall, challenge him right here in New Hampshire, and make a run at it.
Yeah, he didn't put any names out there. But it's interesting. Sununu says, look, it's going to be somebody who can fund themselves, somebody that has some name identification, and somebody who may not be from the world of politics. And I think all of that makes a great deal of sense. As you know, I've been on record as saying that I don't know how this 2024 thing's going to play out, but I'm pretty sure that Joe Biden will not be the nominee. At least now there is one other Republican governor who agrees with me on that. He says there's a greater than 50% chance he's not on the ballot. Getting more complicated as we move to 2024 is the potential of a third or maybe a fourth party candidate. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin says he's thinking seriously about leaving the Democrat Party and declaring himself an independent before the 2024 election, when he will have to decide whether to run for a fourth Senate term or wage a third-party bid for president. Manchin, who earlier this year described himself as an independent Democrat, told West Virginia, this is where he likes to go make his big news. He goes and he talks to a West Virginia radio host named Hoppy Kercheval. Good old Hoppy. He told Hoppy on Thursday that the Democrat brand has become so bad. I'm thinking seriously, for me, I have to have peace of mind, basically. The brand has become so bad, the D brand and the R brand in West Virginia, the D brand because it's the national brand, not the Democrats in West Virginia, it's the Democrats in Washington. You've heard me say a million times, I'm not a Washington Democrat. Pressed by Kercheval, the host of Talkline, said, he's really serious about becoming an independent. Manchin said, I would think very seriously about that. I've been thinking about that for quite some time. I haven't made any decisions. I want to make sure that my voice is truly an independent voice, and when I do speak, I want to be able to speak honestly about basically the extremes of the Democrat and Republican Party that's harming our nation. That's a complication. How do you then, figure out where all the votes might fall? Who would he draw Democrats? Would he draw, disillusioned Republicans? Would he go after, the muddy middle and try to go for that? I don't know. But if he gets in and he's got funding and he's got some name ID, he could definitely be, a killer. He could kill off another candidate. So we'll keep an eye on that. But Manchin talking more and more about how he might become an independent and he might run for president as an independent. Now let's turn to Donald Trump, who is making a lot of noise. This goes for a while, folks. I'm going to let you because I think the thing about Donald Trump is that sometimes he thinks out loud. I'm sort of like that. I think out loud sometimes, and then I kind of just think it out and see where I am. And I think he's like that. And the question that was asked of him, are you going to go to the August 23rd debate for Fox? And it doesn't sound like he's leaning that way. But he also said that he's not going to sign that pledge. So if he's not going to sign that pledge, I don't know how he can do the debate with Fox on August 23rd.
At least 2/3 of the people don't want you to do the debate because they feel it could be a setup. Are you concerned about Fox setting up?
Well, when you're at 75, 78, 80%, and other guys are at 0, 1%, 2%, 3%, you do say, what's the upside? Am I going to go up 1 point? But they could go up. They're not dumb people. They're senators. They're governors, they're intelligent people. You have some very good people. I think you have some very good people, and you have some people. I have a problem with the debate for another reason. I wouldn't sign the pledge. Why would I sign a pledge? There are people on there that I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have certain people as, somebody that I'd endorse. So they want you to sign a pledge. But I can name 3 or 4 people that I wouldn't support for president. So right there's a problem, okay? Right there's a problem. But I don't have to use that.
Right now,
no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. There's no reason to insult them. But there are some people there that a lot of people wouldn't endorse, but they wouldn't be right. They're not going to go anywhere, by the way. They're not going to get it. But I wouldn't endorse it.
So the RNC said that's one of the requirements for, so you won't sign it.
Well, they have 3 or 4 people that I wouldn't, who would put these people as president? If you ever put these people as president, but you'll get somebody else. There'll be somebody. But right now, I saw Kristi Noem, who's terrific. She's done a fantastic job. I watched her this morning. She was on television. They asked her, are you going to run? Because there are other people running. Are you going to run? She said, no. Why aren't you going to run? Because nobody can beat Trump. She said it, which I greatly respect. She's saying, I hope the truth. She said, why would I run? Nobody's going to beat Trump. There's not even a contest. These people are just wasting their time. Somebody like Asa Hutchinson, who's polling at 0, will ask me nasty questions. Somebody like Chris Christie, he's polling at 1%, and he's going to ask me nasty questions, and others too. And then you have some that are very good. I mean, Tim Scott has been very nice, and Ramaswamy has been very, very nice. I mean, these are, very capable people, very good people. But why would you do that when you're leading by so much? Ronald Reagan didn't do it. Nixon didn't do it. Many people didn't do it. And but I'm going to look at it very seriously. I'd like to do it. I've actually gotten very good marks on debating talents, but you want to be, they want a smart president. They want somebody that's going to be smart. So we have to do the smart thing.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you that why would you do it? Christie and Pence both said you may not have the guts to come onto the debate.
Well, that's what people will say. They'll say, oh, he doesn't have the guts. He doesn't have the guts. I mean, I did CNN town hall. That was about as hostile as you can do. I did very well because, I did so well that they fired the head of CNN over that debate. But no, it's not a question of guts. It's a question of intelligence. And I'm going to make a decision. I haven't, totally ruled it out. I would love to do it in many ways because I sort of enjoy that. But we'll let people know next week.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there. There's no percentage in it, and if he does, he is right. He'll be opening himself up to some shots from the chattering class and people who are polling at 1%, and there's really just no percentage in that. It would be my recommendation if I were advising the former president is ride that lead. That 35, 38, 40% lead that you have, just ride it and see how far you can get before you have to enter the fray, if at all. And I think I don't think he's going to be there. And if he's not going to sign the pledge, he's not going to do it at all. All right. One other story. This is from the Free Beacon. Over the last 20 years, I have not seen this before. About 4 times as many Democrat state lawmakers have switched to the Republican Party as the other way around. 83 Democrat legislators have joined the GOP since 1994, compared with only 23 Republicans who became Democrats. This from Politico on Wednesday. 5 of those blue to red switches happened just this year. One of the new Republicans, Georgia State Representative Misha Maynor, said Democrats crucified and abandoned her for supporting a school choice bill, prompting her party switch. After Maynor, who is black, announced her decision, internet trolls spammed her email with racist slurs, threats, and abusive comments, according to the Washington Free Beacon. But I think that's the right trend, especially true in a long-held Democrat stronghold, southern Texas, where a lot of people decided they were going to run as Republicans, having never run as a Republican before, having been Democrats all those many, many, many years. All right, it is 19, almost 20 minutes past the hour. In a moment, my adventure at the hospital. You don't want to miss it. It's 20 minutes past the hour. If you have a desire to add gold or silver to your portfolio, listen up. It's Brian Wilson for Nashville Gold and Coin. And if you're looking to buy real, actual, hold it in your hand, gold, silver, or bullion, let me tell you, this is the place I do business. It's the place I recommend. You'll get honest, friendly customer service and a real precious metals education. And they also specialize in buying, selling, and appraising of coins. Do you have any idea how much those old coins you have laying around might be worth? I brought in a few silver coins in a shoebox that had been buried in my sock drawer for years. Turned out to be worth about $1,652. So whether you're in the market to purchase precious metals, or you just want to find out what those coins in your closet might be worth, schedule a one-on-one consultation today. Go to NashvilleGoldandCoin.com. That's NashvilleGoldandCoin.com.
Devastating wildfires in Hawaii. It prompts FEMA disaster relief, a transportation disaster amongst Louisville schools, and the Academy of Country Music Honors has announced the first round of performers in the upcoming show this month. Those stories and more coming up 30 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. I'm Mac Morey, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right. Hello, Mac Morey in the newsroom.
Hello,
and there's
hello.
Chris Webber in the control room. As you know, I was out yesterday. Thanks for Des Dickerson for stepping in here and handling the show while I was undergoing, I hate to sound it because it sounds dire when you say it, but it technically was heart surgery. But not the typical heart surgery, where they crack you open and they're out there cleaning up, different things. This was a relatively, as heart surgeries go, sort of a mild thing. I was having a problem with some irregular heartbeats. I mean, my thumpity was not right. And it was causing me to lose about 50% of my heart capacity. So I was walking around with about half a heart. And
That explains a lot.
Yeah, and everybody said, well, Wilson, we've always thought that you went around life half-hearted. And I said, well, yes, that's true. But, I mean, it was because my heart really was only beating at about 50% efficiency. So the idea was to go in and get it fixed. And so I went down to St. Thomas yesterday early. I was 05:30. That's, I'm the early bird patient, right, And so I go in and, we're going to need about 20 minutes to prep you. And they ran an electrocardiogram and they were running my pulse and they were running my blood pressure. And then comes the ever important bikini wax.
Oh.
Yes. I had to have a bikini wax.
That
so
is
that,
not a mental image I wanted to have.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you. And then so they come in and say, well, Mr. Wilson, are you ready to map and zap? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we're going to go into your heart with a catheter. We're going to map, which cells are causing the irregular heartbeat, and we're going to zap them. We're going to hit them with some, some kind of microwave power.
Wow.
And so, that's it. So, I went in. I was in there for, I think I was in there for about 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
And under complete anesthesia, which brings me to the next part of my story. Because, when you come out of anesthesia, there's that moment where, you're goofy as all get out. You don't make any sense at all. And, really all you want to do is just sort of lay back and sort of, easily come into consciousness and let the effects of the anesthesia wear off. And, but Cabana wife had a different idea. She decided that she was going to take full advantage of the situation to extract some promises while I was in that, somewhat weakened state.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Okay, I want to sit on the side.
All right. Anything to say, Brian?
What?
What?
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side.
All I really wanted to do was just turn over on my side. I mean, this would have made me the happiest man yesterday at about, noonish when I was coming out of all this stuff. All I wanted to do, I just wanted to lay on my side. My lower back, I've been on my lower back for hours. I wanted to turn. But no. You can't do that.
Are you going to take me to the beach?
Yeah.
When?
Whenever.
At this, I can't even open my eyes at this point.
Whenever? Are you going to buy me a diamond ring?
Sure.
Sure. When are you doing that?
And if that diamond ring don't shine, maybe it's going to buy you a...
A what?
I don't know.
You don't know. Forgot the words? We'll have to work on that.
I started singing the song Mockingbird. And if that diamond ring don't shine, I can't even remember what the line is. Why in the world did this come to me? It actually, to be honest with you, I hate this song. I hate this song more than you know. But you get, you get to the diamond ring and well, let's listen here. It's going to break this heart of mine. There you go. That was
Oh,
the
wow.
line.
That's the line you should have remembered.
Yeah, I said, I should have. You said, this is going to break this heart of mine if you keep harassing me while I'm under anesthesia.
I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, all that I really needed was just.
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot.
You sound like Otis from Andy of Mayberry.
I tell you what, I
want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side. Are you going to take me to the beach?
Yeah.
When?
whatever.
Whenever? You going to buy me a diamond ring?
Sure.
Sure.
And I was so sincere. I was sort of turning my head because I could tell she was on the side of the bed and in which side of the bed. I turned my head and I went, sure. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any doubt about it. I mean, just sure, whatever you want, honey.
Uh-huh.
I mean, let's just say she deserves, with all the stuff she's put up with.
Sure.
Sure. When are you doing that?
And if that diamond ring don't shine, maybe it's going to buy you a...
A what?
I don't know.
You don't know. Forgot the words? We'll have to work on that.
Yeah, and apparently I have not seen them yet because this was just revealed to me today. There are other videos.
Oh boy.
I don't know what kind of promises I have been asked and how many things have been extracted from me in my state of semi-consciousness. But, all in good fun. Everybody said, well, you got to be hacked on. No. It was fine. I thought it was hilarious. And she was just messing around with me because, she wanted to see, she thought it'd be funny to see how out of it I was.
Mm-hmm.
And when I can't even remember the lyrics to Mockingbird, I'm in pretty bad shape. It is 31 minutes now past the hour. And just remember, all I really want.
I want to turn on my side.
31 minutes now past the hour, 3 o'clock.
It's 3:31. I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. 82 degrees right now, and the severe weather has passed. Just scattered storms here expected for the rest of today and tomorrow. Looking sunny and cleared up. Traffic and weather coming up in just a few minutes. Devastation in Hawaii, in Maui, and on the Big Island after at least 36 people have died in wildfires. The fire spread quickly thanks to trade winds and dry air, and it led to residents and tourists having to leave at moment's notice. Homes and businesses in the town of Lahaina completely destroyed. Some people even jumping into the water to escape those flames. More than 270 structures have been destroyed or damaged. Melissa Adon is in Maui and says that residents are trying to take shelter wherever they can.
These are lines and lines and lines of cars of people waiting. Many of them either just residents, some of them wanting to check on their homes, check to see if their animals survived, check to see if their neighbors made it. And the only people that are going through are those that are in the search and rescue mode to, of course, ensure that they can find aid to people that are maybe need medical attention.
And President Biden today approved a federal disaster declaration for Hawaii. And in Kentucky, schools in the Louisville area abruptly closed until Monday after long delays with school buses. John Shannon.
The decision to cancel comes after what Jefferson County Public School Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio called a transportation disaster on the first day of the school year Wednesday, when the final child wasn't dropped off at home until 9:58 p.m. He says district staff will work around the clock to address the issue.
We're going to be having our bus drivers have extra days. We're going to pay them extra days to practice their new routes, which is a big challenge. I understand for them, but they need more practice with this.
The problem comes as the district increased the number of school start times this year from 2 to 9. The 96,000 student district is the largest in Kentucky.
And here in Tennessee, the Academy of Country Music Honors is being held at the Ryman Auditorium August 23rd, and the first round of performers just got announced. A few of the performers announced so far: Brandy Clark, Chris Jansen, Carly Pierce, Keith Urban, The War and Treaty, and Trisha Yearwood. And the honor show will celebrate previous winners as well as the Artist Songwriter of the Year. And that is the latest news. Weather and traffic next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Furr, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
All right, King and Associates Insurance in Brentwood has been in business over there for about 25 years as an independent agency. And I'm telling you, an independent agency, that's a good thing to think about. Now, why, you say? Well, first of all, because they're small, they're going to give you personal service. They're smaller than, some of these, these big mega insurance companies you see on TV. And so they're going to take a look at everything that you need. In fact, if you call this number, 615-329-8121, you're going to get an actual person on the line. That's right. An actual human being will answer your phone. You're not going to get, your call is important to us, or a phone tree, or leave a message. None of that. That is, that's the first start. And then the other thing I like about King and Insurance and Associates is that because they are an independent agency, they can shop around. They can, they can not look at some of these insurance companies that don't give you a good deal and look for something that really fits you like a hand in glove. Something that really meets your personal needs. Multi-policy discounts can save you a ton of money. So get your royal review with King and Associates. Just log on to tkinginsurance.com. That's tkinginsurance.com. King Insurance and Associates, royal treatment and really great rates. It's 39 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy, and so glad that you're with us here. So glad that I'm with you here after that grueling day yesterday. I still haven't figured some things out. I mean, I don't know why somebody marked all over my feet.
Just in case you got lost, they wanted to make sure they knew who you were.
It's like little marks on my feet with like a permanent ink too. It's going to take forever for it to come off. I mean, it seems like if you're gonna need to know something about my feet, that you would make a note of it, and do it in something that is less than permanent ink.
Yeah, you would think so, huh? But they didn't want it to rub off, I guess, and then their marks would be gone, and then they wouldn't remember.
Better to be safe than sorry, I suppose.
Maybe that was just like their little, you got big feet, Brian. I mean, let's be honest. Maybe that was like their little whiteboard they were using to mark off. All right, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3.
I don't know. But there's a little. I still have questions. The economy is a disaster, and I'm gonna save this for a little bit later. But the consumer prices rose by 3.2% annually, picking up for the first time in 13 months, and that has had an impact. And you've got the president of the United States traveling all over the country to talk about the power of the Bidenomics. The Bidenomics are getting it done. But then you see things like this. I mean, look, whatever is going on out there in the economy, and I've always thought that I need to get me a one-armed economist. I need someone who can, who can tell me what's going on with the economy, and then not say, but on the other hand. That's what I'm looking for. But apparently, there aren't any out there that I can find. The bottom line is, I don't know what's going on with the economy, but I know it ain't going great. And I know that if they're worried about inflation right now, inflation is about to start going up again. Why? Because energy prices are going up. And that's the one thing across the board that will cause your overall inflation to skyrocket. And we've been through that, right? Remember back, when it was at 9.1% inflation? Well, so the president is, for some reason, inexplicably going out around the country trying to talk about the power of the economy and how Bidenomics is getting it done. And we have a positive story to tell, except that it's just not resonating with the voters out there. And this was brought to the attention of Karine Jean-Pierre by a guy named Victor Blackwell, who's an anchor over at, of all places, CNN. And, they just said, Karine, how in the world are you, why are you out there touting the economy when most Americans think the economy is not where it needs to be?
Hey, let's talk about why you and the president are there out west. You're talking climate, but also economy. And the latest CNN poll out just days ago showed that Americans are pretty sour on the state of the economy. They think it's in a downturn or getting worse. About half of respondents. The president's approval rating for his handling of the economy is at 37%, 30% on inflation specifically. From the White House perspective, why is there disparity between the good story, the narrative you think you have to tell, and how it's received by the American people?
First of all, kudos. You don't expect a hard-hitting question like that over at CNN. But Victor asked a really great question. I mean, honestly, that's a great question.
So a couple of things, Victor. Look, as we know, polls don't show everything. They don't tell the full story, as you just stated. And we have to remember, if you look at where we were back in the fall of 2022 during the midterm elections, when the president delivered a historic midterms for Democrats, when we think about how, as a Democratic president, he delivered a victory that we hadn't seen in decades, right? And he led that messaging throughout those months going into November. And we are in a stronger position now than we were back then in the fall. And so that is important to note. Look, there's a lot going on in this country, and we understand that, Americans are coming out of a pandemic. The
pandemic still? We're talking about the pandemic? Oh my gosh, let it go.
We're dealing with a lot when you think about the economy. But here's the thing. This is a president who has spent the last 2 years turning the economy around. You hear us talk about Bidenomics. You just mentioned how we're doing this West Coast swing, talking directly to the American people about how wages are actually going up, about how inflation is going down over a long, extended period of time, more than 12 months. That is important. That is important. Consumer confidence is up. And so when you see unemployment is lower than 4%, that has been steady for some time, this is what we are going to talk about. This is why the president is going out there. It's going to talk directly to the American people to have that conversation. Again, polls don't tell the entire story.
Well, but polls tell you where the American people are and what they think about your policies. And these numbers are not good. These numbers, 37% on your approval rating on your handling of the economy. That's a little, that's basically, you've got the Democrats. 30%, you don't even have all the Democrats on the issue of inflation. Your approval rating on inflation, 30%. So this is a disaster. The numbers are not good. And I want to warn you, maybe what they're doing is trying to get out there and talk about the economy while they can. Because look, they got a real problem as far as I can see. Let's talk a little bit about what has happened. You've got gasoline prices which are going up. Chris, can you do me the favor of looking at the gas buddy for the state of Tennessee, and we'll give and maybe the national numbers as well, because the prices of gas have gone up. If you filled up your tank lately, you know this. This is not a surprise to you. We need to start putting those stickers on there that say he did that, because he did that. And here's how he did it. When it was time for the midterm elections, he knew that the real driver of inflation was high energy cost, the high cost of oil, which then gets turned into gas and diesel, etc. And so in order to bring artificially the price of oil and gas down, he started dumping a bunch of oil into the strategic petroleum reserve. And he did that. And he dumped it into the market. And because there was then an artificially manufactured glut of oil, then the prices, came down, and it helped him through the midterm elections. Now, I think this is reprehensible. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is really not supposed to be used for that. It's really not. It's supposed to be used for times of national emergency. I'll give you an example where I think it's proper to use the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Let's say there's a hurricane in the Gulf. Oil rigs badly damaged. Can't pump oil inland. Maybe a couple of refineries down in Louisiana got hit. Well, you're going to have a real problem. And so, one of the things you can do to drive down the high cost of oil is to, maybe release a little bit from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's not supposed to be used as it's being used, or it has been used by the Biden administration. It's not supposed to be used because your campaign is in the crapper. It's just, that's not what it's for. People were dying, I'm not saying dying. They were struggling because of the economy and the high cost of inflation. They couldn't keep up. And if you know anything at all about the economy, you know that oil and gas have the ability to really rip through the economy and cause inflation to go up. In order to artificially bring down the gas prices and by extension to, sort of reduce the amount of inflation that was going on there, they tapped into something that really should not be tapped into. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is at the lowest levels it's been since the mid-'80s. It's really bad. We should not be using the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for that. So in the days ahead, they can't take any more out. They really can't. And if they do, there should be congressional hearings about it, because it's a really bad idea. You've got to leave some oil in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And so, if you can do that, if they try to do that again, they'll be screaming and hollering. They really can't. So I think in the short term, while some things are starting to look a little better, inflation is the problem we've been trying to kill off, and I think inflation is coming back, mostly because gasoline prices are going to go up, diesel prices are going to go up, and everything in the economy that moves to market uses energy to do so. So what happens? Your food arrives, but it costs more to ship it, and so you have to pay more for it. Do you think out of the goodness of your heart, the grocery stores are going to cut you some slack? No, they pass it along. So get ready. I think we're in for another round of inflation. And I don't understand why in the world the Biden administration is out there trying to make the case that Bidenomics are working. I can't really see where they are. 50 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk.
Hey folks, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the biggest decisions people have to make in retirement is how to take Social Security. You'll get all kinds of workshops about that, and you'll see all kinds of things about that particular topic. Because Social Security, for some people, it might be a third or even more of their income in retirement. So you want to get this decision right. Well, how do you make the decision? Well, one of the things we look at, there are programs we use. This is one of the simpler programs that we use right here. And I want to just show you how it works and how it actually unravels some of the misconceptions we have about Social Security. So we have two people here, they're age 60, and they're looking at filing for Social Security. One person has a retirement benefit of $2,500. That is their main benefit from Social Security at their full retirement age. The other one has a $500 benefit. And what we can do here, which is kind of cool, is look at this and say, okay, well, what if we have this person has that life expectancy and that person has that life expectancy there? And then what we do is we assume a certain cost of living increase in Social Security. What would be the optimal for taking the benefit where they get the most benefit or the most bang from their buck? And where we see the star, that shows that we would have the best benefit. Now, this is one person filing at age 67, the other person at age 70. Well, a lot of people think, well, I retire, I have to take Social Security at the same time that I retire, and that's not necessarily the case. As you can see here, one may take it at one age and one may take it at another, even though they're the same age right now. Now, the other thing we can do is say, well, what if I took it early? What if I took it at this particular age right here, where one person's 65 and the other one's 65? You can actually see how much it could cost in benefits. When we do this, we can see how much it might cost us and how much it might affect us negatively to do that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can play around the life expectancies, and we say, well, if this person lives to that age, now the cost is $187,000 in this particular example, taking it at that age right there. So you can see, based on your own life expectancy, and typically people will say, well, what did my parents live to, and come up with that type of data. So this is just part of the financial planning process that we use at Paul Winkler Inc. If you want to know more about what we do, you can get a free 15-minute phone call at our website, paulwinkler.com. We do financial planning, full financial planning. We do investing education and investing. We actually help people through those decisions, helping them set up their 401ks and those types of decisions, as well as risk management. But we don't get paid on commission. That's what makes us so different from other firms out there that do what we do. So if you want to find out more, go to paulwinkler.com.
4 Americans set to be released from Iran in agreement with the United States. An alleged robber arrested in Tennessee, a prisoner escape, and the Nashville high school that has to have the most discipline shelled out. Take your guesses. That and more coming up at 4. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 57 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Let's look at the market numbers and see how we are. Dow Jones Industrial closed up 52 points. The S&P up, 1. NASDAQ up 15. So up slightly, but not much. I mean, I would call this a very weak color of green, not vibrant at all. And what's driving it? Well, it has to do with the CPI. And standing by with more information on that is John Maxon from Beacon Capital Management. Hello, John.
Hey, Brian. Well, that's right. The market started out today up big over 1%. It cheered really the July Consumer Price Index, which really just came in within expectations. The market was up over 1%. It's really interesting. It's still, though, over double what the Fed's goal is. And so it's a good report. Inflation generally seems to be headed in the right direction, but really and truly the consumer is still not strong. A lot of questions. Energy prices, unfortunately, have began creeping up again in July, and one of the Fed presidents, after that report, positive report, actually came out and said that the Fed may have more work to do, indicating that they could continue to raise rates. So pretty cautious market today.
All right. Thank you very much, John Maxon. Learn more about all the things they can do for you over at Beacon Capital Management by going to their website, askbeaconnow.com. It is 58 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk. I want to talk about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Kevin Mitchell is my doctor. He can be your doctor. You need to meet Dr. Kevin and Dr. Ashley Mitchell now. They've got all kinds of things they can do to help you with your pain. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Call that number. If you're a new patient, you can take advantage of their 2023 special. You get an exam. You get a consultation. You get x-rays if needed. You can bring in an MRI if you've got one. And Dr. Mitchell will go over your condition. He'll come up with a healing plan for you. And then your first consult is only $23 if you're a new patient. That's a good deal. I talk all the time about the non-surgical spinal decompression. I've been through a bunch of those sessions, and they really help me with my lower back and my neck. I think they can help you as well. And Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley Mitchell now offer the first of its kind KT machine. It's like the spinal decompression, but it's aimed at your knee. It gently elongates the knee and allows the meniscus or the cartilage to receive the healing therapy without the need for surgery or, more importantly, painkillers. 615-246-5009. Learn about all the things they can do for you at the Wellness Institute of Nashville by going to their website, painisbad.com.
.401, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Right now, partly sunny in Nashville and scattered showers expected for the rest of this afternoon into the evening, and a clear sunny day Headed for our Friday. Complete weather and traffic in 5 minutes. This just in, breaking news from Channel 4. Metro Police are investigating a shooting inside of the Bordeaux Library. Reports say 2 injured. Right now, a large police presence there, and no other information released other than that. We'll keep you updated right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The United States and Iran have reached a tentative agreement that would release 4 American citizens from Iranian prison. A lawyer representing one of the detainees says that the 4 American citizens were released from a notorious prison in Iran today and are currently under house arrest. Jay O'Brien has more from the White House on efforts to bring them home.
A person familiar with the negotiations described house arrest as a process that, if all goes well, could ultimately see Siamak Namazi, Ahmad Shagari, Murad Tabas, and a 4th who's asked not to be identified, freed from Iran, along with a 5th U.S. national who's already under house arrest. If they are allowed to leave Iran, the Biden administration is expected to approve the release of roughly $6 billion worth of Iranian assets held in a restricted account in South Korea due to U.S. sanction laws.
Right now in Tennessee, Metro Police arrested a suspect who reportedly robbed a woman who was leaving a bank this morning. That was at a Bank of America on Murfreesboro Pike in Antioch. A masked man took a woman's money and attempted to and then shot her in the shoulder. She has non-life-threatening injuries and is currently hospitalized. Officers found the suspect after fleeing on foot. And staying here in Tennessee, another group of Covenant school parents happy with Governor Lee's call for an emergency order of protection restricting access to firearms if a judge says someone is a danger to themselves or others. And if it doesn't happen this month,
we will be back this January, the January after that, the January after that, and the January after that, for as long as it takes to make our children safer.
Leading Republican lawmakers favor institutionalizing someone that a judge deems a public safety threat rather than taking access to guns away from people. And in Nashville, Fox 17 has been looking into the number of students who get disciplined in Metro Nashville public schools. They say state data shows Antioch High School tops the list at 402 students in the last school year. Antioch High is where a teacher was punched in the face and pepper sprayed for taking a student's cell phone when she refused to put it away during class. Metro Schools told Fox 17 the district made changes with a new principal now in charge. In an escape worthy of a TV drama, Aaron Katursky tells us a prisoner tied a string of linens and rappelled out of a New York City hospital.
Yun-Chun Chen was supposed to be taking a shower at Mount Sinai Beth Israel Hospital. Instead, police said he escaped out a window, tying together towels and other linens and then scaling down the side of the building to the second floor. He landed on an air conditioning unit, used a ladder to climb down to the street, and hailed a cab southbound on 2nd Avenue. Chen had been arrested for criminal possession of a controlled substance, and correction officers took him to the hospital for some kind of heart trouble. Police are now looking for the 44-year-old, 6'3", 250-pound man with tattoos on his left arm.
And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Furr, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. 8 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy. Mac Morey in the newsroom, and there's Chris Weber in the control room. We've got all kinds of stuff to bring you over the course of the next 3 hours before we hand it over to Mark Levin. And we got stuff to talk about. Look, it's some of it's not fun. Some of it is irritating. Some of it will make you laugh. I promise you, especially if you hang around to the next hour, I'll get a good laugh out of you. The Biden family. It continues. This investigation continues to pick up pace every day. You know how I feel about this thing. It's a drip, drip, drip. In fact, there's a drip every day, and every time there's a drip, it just makes the story stronger. It doesn't make the story weaker at all. There's never a piece of information that comes in that says, oh, well, maybe we were wrong about that. No, I mean, everything keeps pointing in the same direction. Sorry, wrong button. The schwang is right next to the drip. Sorry about that. Biden family will face subpoenas, says James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee. In an interview on Fox Business, Comer explained that his panel is building a case that will hold up in court for a legal fight built upon financial records and testimony gathered as investigators look into the flow of millions of dollars coming to members of the First family from foreign nationals. Part of that endeavor, part of that endeavor will lean to an impeachment inquiry. This was always going to end with the Bidens coming out in front of the committee. We're going to subpoena the family, Comer told anchor Maria Bartiromo. We're putting the case together to win in court. Obviously, with all the opposition and obstruction we're getting from the Biden attorneys now, we know this is going to end up in court when we subpoena the Bidens. Well, that would be something, wouldn't it? To start having members of the Biden family hauled in under subpoena. Of course, they'll all take the fifth, but, nonetheless. Staff memos show the GOP-led oversight panel has now identified more than $20 million in payments to the Bidens from sources in foreign countries, including, you ready for this? Boy, this is just, is this where you want to be doing your business? China, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Kazakhstan, through a web of more than 20 shell corporations, raising concerns about the president being susceptible to influence peddling. Comer has said that at least a dozen members of Joe Biden's family may have taken part in an influence peddling scheme. This according to the Daily Wire. The Oversight Committee has emphasized that it is focused on crafting legislation solutions geared towards shoring up ethics laws and rules governing the disclosures of financial interest. The president's son, Hunter Biden, is a central subject of interest for the congressional investigators, but he also faces a federal criminal inquiry. His former business partner, Devon Archer, recently testified to the House Oversight Committee that the Biden family brand went a long way in their ventures when the elder Biden was vice president. Hunter Biden put his father on a speakerphone roughly 20 times during meetings with business associates, according to Archer, who said these calls were signal enough to be powerful. Well, I mean, if you even if you don't talk about anything of substance, just showing that you can put, I got the vice president, I got dad on speed dial here. Oh, you want to talk to the vice president of the United States? Just come to me. I'm the guy that's got the juice. I can get you here. Well, let's call him right now. Plop. Put the phone on the table. By the way, he is denying that. He denied it today. I mean, that nice Peter Doocy is back and from paternity leave, and he's asking hard questions, and he finally got one. And as Biden was leaving the room, here is Joseph Biden leaving the room, being questioned by Peter Doocy.
There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you
we're on speakerphone a lot with them, talking business. Is that what?
Never talk business to anybody. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And because it's not true. Well, I don't know. How could that be? There were dinners. There were phone calls. There were golf outings. And you never talked business, Mr. President? Never talked business? Bombshell documents refute Biden's claims he's received no money from China. Townhall.com. Bombshell documents released by House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer reveal new information regarding the Biden family's corrupt business deals. While running as a presidential candidate, Biden assured Americans that his family received no money from China. We know now that's a bald-faced lie. That happened. The family did. There's no doubt about it. Claiming the committee's bank records regarding his family receipts of funds were not true. However, the documents reveal that the Biden family, their business associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals. The committee has identified payments to Biden family members from foreign companies while Joe Biden served as vice president and after he left public office. It explains how the Biden family used business associate companies to receive foreign funds to receive millions of dollars from foreign companies while trying to conceal large financial transactions. The Bidens have significant ties to the Chinese Communist Party, which hid the source of the funds by layering domestic limited liability corporations, LLCs, shell corporations. The committee aims to strengthen the Bank Secrecy Act by analyzing whether financial institutions have the available tools and support from federal agencies to thwart illegal money laundering and foreign corruption activity. I mean, if you look at this thing, it looks just like almost like some kind of mob operation. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think you could make a case with RICO with this, perhaps, because they have buried in so many with so many shell corporations to make it difficult for them to actually follow the money from here to here to here to there. And they're getting more bank records each and every day. Each and more bank records are coming in every day, and that's giving them more and more information. Now, it's like putting together a puzzle. Not easy to do. It's not an easy thing to do. You've got to spend some time, and it takes people who are, what do you call them? They're special accountants who do this kind of stuff. And it takes them a while to sort of put it all together. But the great news is you've got a Republican committee that's sending out the subpoenas and getting the documents that allows all the pieces of the puzzle to be put together. And each and every day, there's another drip. There's another drip. The Bidens reaped millions for talking about the weather. This is a sort of an article or op-ed by Byron York, chief political correspondent of the Washington Examiner. And he makes some other observations. The Bidens reaped millions for talking about the weather, ? The House Oversight Committee has released a new report on the progress of its investigation into Biden family influence peddling during the time Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. Committee staff is releasing payments from Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan that occurred during Joe Biden's vice presidency. The committee has now identified over $20 million in payments from foreign sources to the Biden family and their business associate. But we never talked about anything but the weather. Just the weather. $20 million to talk about the weather. Then Vice President Biden joined approximately 20 phone calls on speakerphone with Hunter Biden's foreign business associates and attended dinners with foreign oligarchs who paid huge sums of money to Hunter Biden. There are two dinners that are being discussed so far. One of them took place the 2014 dinner at Cafe Milano, and it really is. If you've ever been to Georgetown, you know Cafe Milano. You go there, it's a pretty highfalutin place. It's a place where you go to see and be seen. So yeah, if you go to Cafe Milano, it's because you're trying to impress people. One of them took place in the spring of 2014 at Cafe Milano, a see and be seen restaurant in Washington, D.C. As opposed to earlier stories that had Joe Biden dropping in quickly, shaking a few hands, and leaving, on this occasion, the elder Biden stayed for dinner. This, according to the testimony of former Hunter Biden business partner Devon Archer. The dinner is particularly interesting to investigators because it included Yelena Baturina, a Russian billionaire businesswoman whose late husband had been the mayor of Moscow. Not long before the event, Baturina wired $3.5 million to Rosemont Seneca Thornton, one of Hunter Biden's many companies, and then voila, she found herself at dinner with the vice president of the United States. Boy, that's an expensive dinner. Cost you $3.5 million to get an invitation. That is what people in Hunter Biden's business circle meant when they talked about Joe Biden being the brand of the family influence business. He was also its product. Boy, that's a great line. It's not just the brand. He was the product. They were selling access to the vice president. What did Baturina get for her $3.5 million? Among other things, a face-to-face meeting with the vice president. This is getting good. There was the Cafe Milano. There was other dinners, but honestly, does anybody believe that what Joe Biden has said here to Peter Doocy?
There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
I never talk business to anybody. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. 20 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk. I want to tell you about a thing that's going to happen in Cool Springs on August 17th of this year, just a few days from now. And I hope that you can get by there and join us. It's being put on by my good friends over at Beacon Capital Management. Now, they call it the Market Halftime Report. Financial trends, opportunities, and outlooks. And, one of the things we talk about when we talk about Beacon Capital Management is the desire that you might have to make sure that you're making the right investments so that when you get ready to retire, everything is in order. Well, sometimes it's just a minor adjustment. And that's why they call it the halftime report. You'll hear from John Maxson. You'll hear from Pete Benson. You'll hear from all of the experts over there. And by the way, I'll be there to shake your hand and say hello. I have the opening remarks at 10:30 on the 17th of August at the Marriott in Cool Springs. And I hope that you will think about trying to be there. Look, I'll tell you, the difference between having success and having something that's less than success when it comes to retirement is making sure that you've made all of the right adjustments. And these are the people who can point you in the right direction. Again, if you want to go, why don't you just reach out, go to the web at beaconcm.com, beaconcm.com, or better yet, just give them a call, 615-488-9303.
2 people were shot at the Bordeaux branch of the Nashville Public Library. We're learning more right now. Still a large police presence outside of that building, plus some money news. We'll catch you all up on it right here. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 430.
All right, it is at 25 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy. Man, I tell you what, I don't have any sympathy at all for these so-called, what do you call them? I've lost the track. I've lost track of my mind.
Liberals.
No.
Good guess.
Good idea. No, the sanctuary cities. Thank you. I'm sorry. New York City Mayor Eric Adams sounding the alarm as thousands of migrants continue to flood into the city, and is now demanding that Joe Biden declare a national emergency at the border. Well, he should. But I don't have a great deal of sympathy for Mayor Eric Adams or some of these other big city mayors, because they sort of said, early on, oh, you know what? We have open arms, just bring, if you have migrants and if you are weary, just come to our town. We will take care of you. We will be your sanctuary. We will, in fact, if we know anything about you, we will refuse to share that with federal authorities. And they just did this and they did this and they just have found out how bad it can get. I'm reading, there are 57,300 migrants in the city of New York. 57,000. That's like a good-sized city. And it is estimated that 100,000 will need services by June of 2025. So, they keep saying, well, what are we going to do? We can't meet all this. We're going through money like crazy. In a briefing Wednesday on the state of city finances, Adams warned the influx of migrants could cost the city $12 billion with the B dollars. So we continue to do an average of $2,500 a week, $5,000 every 2 weeks, $10,000 a month. You don't have to be a mathematician to understand what this is doing to our city. Oh, well, maybe you should have thought before you open up your big mouth and say, come on to New York City. We're a sanctuary city. We don't care about those border policies. We want you to come to America, and you will find haven here. You will find sanctuary. Adams admitted that the massive increase in migrants could cost the city as much as $12 billion with the B dollars over the next 3 years. That's a lot. That's an awful lot. Adams demanded that the government reimburse the city for some of the massive costs. Well, that's you and me paying for that. I thought they were a sanctuary city. I thought they were willing to carry the load. I think they were going to open up their city with open arms. Why are they now coming back to you and me and asking for money? I'm telling you, I think this is a disaster of the top order. And these guys, I don't have a great deal of sympathy when they keep talking about, we need help. We're spending too much money. You know what? That's what happens when you open the borders without a thoughtful policy in place. And you know what? The Democrats wanted this. Why should we as taxpayers be paying for it? I think I'm not sure, but I think this is the one issue that is going to really hack off a lot of people who vote Democrat. And when you see how much money it's costing these blue cities to take care of the migrants that they said they would take care of because they said they were a sanctuary city. I think a lot of Democrats are going to be pretty hacked about that. I really think it's a horrible thing, but I do think that voters will take out their displeasure on Democrats as we head into the 2024 election. So much money at all. And listen, I'm telling you, just remember, it wasn't like this until Joe Biden raised his hand and took the oath of office. Before that, we had the borders relatively under control. It is 30 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk.
It's 30 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock. I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Got a full forecast. Latest traffic report on the way in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, 2 people were shot inside of the Bordeaux branch of the Nashville Public Library. One of them shot in the foot. A lot of police presence still outside of that building. We're learning more. You can stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for more information on that ongoing breaking news. Classified documents case, another arraignment took place in South Florida today. Former President Trump submitted his not guilty plea on paper, denying the new charges that he conspired to obstruct justice by ordering the deletion of Mar-a-Lago surveillance video. His alleged co-conspirator, property manager Carlos de Oliveira, wasn't able to be arraigned because he still doesn't have a local Florida attorney. Bodyman Walt Nada appeared in person to enter his not guilty plea. And now over to some money news. Daria Albinger lets us know what's going on Wall Street today.
Stocks closed higher, but well off their session highs. The Dow rose 53 points, the Nasdaq added 16, and the S&P was up a point. The markets popped after a better-than-expected consumer price index, which rose 3.2% in July from a year earlier. That's a bit higher than the 3% annual rise in June, but a big drop from last year's 8.5%. The Fed looks closely at this report when it comes to interest rates. Next up, a look at inflation on the wholesale level. The producer price index for July will be released on Friday. Usually the two reports move in tandem, but as we've seen in recent months, not always. First-time jobless claims rose last week by 21,000 and above the 230,000 that economists had been predicting. But the number of people who are receiving benefits after that initial week is falling. And that's a sign that workers are getting rehired pretty quickly.
And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Furr, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
37 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock. Brian Wilson in the chair. My very, I just want to say the nicest things I possibly can to Des Dickerson for filling in yesterday. My appreciation because, I had to go do a little thing with my heart. My heart really wasn't into being in work yesterday. My heart was actually in a hospital being zapped.
Mm.
Yeah. But it turned out okay. And I have a funny story to tell about it, and I'll tell that in the next hour. So, if you have a minute, hang around in the 5 o'clock hour. About 5:25, I'll be able to tell you. Chaos and hilarity ensue. So anyway, hang around. In the meantime, I want to talk about the special session that's coming on the 21st day of August. So that's 11 days from now. And it's, look, I was very much in favor of us canceling this thing. I don't think it really is the right time for a number of reasons. Number one, Governor Lee is not going to get the enhanced order of protection that he wants. It's just not going to happen. There's no appetite for it. I think in the state of Tennessee is a very strong Second Amendment state, and they have concerns about these things, enhanced order of protection, and I do too. Now, I do think there are some things that need to be done, but I'm not sure that's the one. And quite frankly, we're going through this process without having any real understanding of what was in the mind of the Covenant School shooter. And then the whole thing is designed to try to rectify what happened on that day. And I don't know that you can rectify what happened on that day because it was basically evil incarnate. And so, okay, we're politicians and this horrible, tragic thing has happened. Now we rub our hands together and we feel like we have to do something. I'm not sure we do have to do anything. I'm not saying that there aren't some things around the periphery that couldn't be done, but honestly, we don't know anything about the motivation of that shooter because the whole manifesto has been kept from us. It's tied up in court. There's like 35, 40, 50 lawyers involved in trying to, figure out what should happen with that manifesto. So many lawyers, you wouldn't believe the hourly rate when they're in court. It's unbelievable. And you got the lawyers that are representing parents, and you got lawyers that are representing the church. You have lawyers that are representing the students. You have lawyers that are representing the news media. You have lawyers that are representing the TFA, the Tennessee Firearms Association. Each of them have a different take on it all. But what would normally have already been out in the public in any other case is being held up for some reason, and I'm not real sure I have an understanding as to why. Like to know that. I'd like to know more about that before we go off all half-cocked, if you'll excuse the bad pun, and try to do something about guns. So the ERPO, the Enhanced Order of Protection, is not going to go anywhere. And there's this next story that says that, this is really it. The Covenant School mass shooting, first bills of the Tennessee special session to address gun violence have been filed. Here's another story from WKRN. No path for meaningful gun reform emerging ahead of special session. Well, I'm not sure that what Channel 2 would call meaningful gun reform and what I would call meaningful gun reform are one and the same. But one way or the other, you're not going to get anything significant out of this session. What you are going to get, and I stand by this, you're going to get absolute chaos. The Democrats are going to make a mockery out of this whole process. You got your Jones, you got your Pearson. Oh, and here's a couple of things. Here's Gloria Johnson. From TennesseeStar.com, a member of the State House of Representatives and likely U.S. Senate candidate, who sources said will use the upcoming special session of the General Assembly as a platform to launch her campaign, is promoting events for gun control groups. State Representative Gloria Johnson, D. of Knoxville, is boosting a pop-up gun control group called Our Kids Deserve Better, asking her Twitter followers to promote the group. Our Kids Deserve Better is launching a new campaign for common sense gun safety laws following last spring's tragedy at Nashville Covenant School. It's time for Governor Bill Lee and his supermajority to quit stalling, do their job, and protect children. Let the governor and your rep and senator know that you want gun sense legislation with teeth, not the bait and switch nonsense. Our Kids Deserve Better is also working in conjunction with the much more powerful Moms Demand Action, but Tennessee Democrats are hosting a bus tour of their own. Okay, there's going to be bus tours. There's going to be protests. We actually were able to find some audio of one of these meetings where the Democrats were training for what they're going to do to create all kinds of chaos during the special session. And they talked about how some of the people that are going to be there are going to be armed. Look, they just want to cause a bunch of trouble. They want to cause a bunch of chaos, and they want to disrupt the whole thing. Remember, these are people who were, some of them, actively involved in that whole thing that started out as a protest and ended up with them trying to, burn down the courthouse. So is this the kind of folks that, that are looking for meaningful legislation? No, they're just here to create all kinds of chaos, all kinds of trouble. No, they say that they're going to do whatever they can to disrupt the proceedings. And I think we're just asking for trouble. I mean, do we remember? Has our memory faded about what happened when there was all this chaos out there following the Covenant shooting, when the governor asked for this ERPO legislation before? Didn't go very well, did it? So look, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I think there's no real upside to it. And given the fact that, as this headline says, no path for meaningful gun reform emerging ahead of special session, why don't we just wait until January when the special session is supposed to go? I mean, it cost us money to put on a special session. It's not a lot of money as these things go, but it is extra money, and it cost you and me, the taxpayer, money. There's no real desire on any member of the state legislature on the Republican side of the equation that I can find to do anything really dramatic. You're nibbling around at the edges. Maybe there's a good thing here or a little good thing there that might happen. But I just think all of that could be put off until January. Because it's August, and because these groups that protest haven't got anything else going on right now, they're all going to show up from out of state. I mean, I can guarantee you they're going to flood the zone. They're going to come in here and they're going to start creating all kinds of problems, all kinds of chaos. And I don't know that we need it. I don't know how that's helpful to this situation. Maybe I'll be wrong and I'll be surprised, but I don't think I will be, because I've seen how these people think, and we've heard them talk about how they want to go in there and disrupt and yell and scream and make sure that, instead of having a meaningful and thoughtful special session, we're just going to have a shouting match, just a screaming and shouting match with the Joneses and Gloria Johnson doing everything she can to take a political advantage of this thing and try to, turn it into a political campaign where she's going to run against Marsha Blackburn. So I'm not in favor of it. I'm against it. And as we look at it more and more and more, we don't see where they have any particular meaningful legislation. Now, I see where, this, that, or the other might happen, but I just don't see it. The Covenant School mass shooting. Here we go. This story. Yeah, I mean, you've got Lambert, and I like Lambert. He's a pretty good guy. He's somebody who's thoughtful. As introduced, this is HB 7004. As introduced, requires the court or chief officer of a mental health facility that orders the release of a person from the mental health facility to notify the law enforcement agency that transported the person to the mental health facility of the person's release. Okay, well, that's only good if they follow up. In a statement on X, Representative Lambert says the bills improve the safety of our great state and in no way infringe upon our civil liberties. But this means, is there a follow-up? Is there a mandatory follow-up? I don't know. Look, this is a tragedy. It is sad. I understand that we have had a tragic thing happen in our community, and there are those who are wringing their hands and those who lost loved ones, and they're going, we need to do something. Well, maybe what we need to do is do some things around the periphery, and I still don't think that the special session is a great idea. I think we push it off to January, but it seems as if that ship has sailed and is not going to change. So we'll watch it very closely as we get closer and closer, but the first bills are being filed, and let's say I'm less than overwhelmed. Not too impressed. 50 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk.
Hey folks, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the biggest decisions people have to make in retirement is how to take Social Security. You'll get all kinds of workshops about that, and you'll see all kinds of things about that particular topic. Because Social Security, for some people, it might be a third or even more of their income in retirement. So you want to get this decision right. Well, how do you make the decision? Well, one of the things we look at, there are programs we use. This is one of the simpler programs that we use right here. And I want to just show you how it works and how it actually unravels some of the misconceptions we have about Social Security. So we have two people here, they're age 60, and they're looking at filing for Social Security. One person has a retirement benefit of $2,500. That is their main benefit from Social Security at their full retirement age. The other one has a $500 benefit. And what we can do here, which is kind of cool, is look at this and say, okay, well, what if we have this person has that life expectancy and that person has that life expectancy there? And then what we do is we assume a certain cost of living increase in Social Security. What would be the optimal for taking the benefit where they get the most benefit or the most bang from their buck? And where we see the star, that shows that we would have the best benefit. Now, this is one person filing at age 67, the other person at age 70. Well, a lot of people think, well, I retire, I have to take Social Security at the same time that I retire, and that's not necessarily the case. As you can see here, one may take it at one age and one may take it at another, even though they're the same age right now. Now, the other thing we can do is say, well, what if I took it early? What if I took it at this particular age right here, where one person's 65 and the other one's 65? You can actually see how much it could cost in benefits. When we do this, we can see how much it might cost us and how much it might affect us negatively to do that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can play around the life expectancies, and we say, well, if this person lives to that age, now the cost is $187,000 in this particular example, taking it at that age right there. So you can see, based on your own life expectancy, and typically people will say, well, what did my parents live to, and come up with that type of data. So this is just part of the financial planning process that we use at Paul Winkler Inc. If you want to know more about what we do, you can get a free 15-minute phone call at our website, paulwinkler.com. We do financial planning, full financial planning. We do investing, education, and investing. We actually help people through those decisions, helping them set up their 401ks and those types of decisions, as well as risk management. But we don't get paid on commission. That's what makes us so different from other firms out there that do what we do. So if you want to find out more, go to paulwinkler.com.
A shooting inside of the Nashville Public Library. A Tennessee man arrested after being found with explosive chemicals. The Supreme Court blocking a company from emerging from bankruptcy. And the writers and actors strike goes on in Hollywood. Those stories and more coming up at 5 o'clock sharp. I'm Mac Morey here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, Mac Morey all over it. I'm in the chair here in bucolic Watertown. Chris Webber there in the control room. Listen, here we go. International governments are now warning people not to travel to Maui as wildfires continue to decimate the Hawaiian island. This is so sad. This is truly one of the most beautiful parts of America. I've never been to Maui, but the pictures are just really quite amazing. Canadian authorities issued a regional risk for Maui and warned Canadians to avoid non-essential travel to Maui. British authorities travel advice regarding wildfires in Maui, warning wildfires are affecting a number of areas in Maui County. Wildfires are highly dangerous and unpredictable, and the situation can, as you know, with any wildfire, it can change very quickly. There we go. The Hawaiian government has issued an emergency proclamation discouraging non-essential air travel to Maui. And Director Ed Sniffen of Hawaii's Department of Transportation said Wednesday that officials evacuated more than 11,000 tourists. How do you do that very quickly? I mean, it's an island. How do you get 11,000 people off an island really quick? I don't know, but I wouldn't go right now. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. I've never been. I landed one night about 2 o'clock in the morning on Air Force One at Hickam. And it was dark. And I saw Bill Clinton, and I saw him go to the bathroom, but I didn't see any of Hawaii. Well, does that count? Can I mark that as a visit to Hawaii? I don't think
so.
I don't think that one counts. It's now 4:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let me tell you about the Nashville Armory Ranges, 2 locations for your convenience. The Nashville Armory at 4290 Kenilwood Drive in Nashville, over 15,000 square feet, which combines retail, classroom, and, of course, pistol and rifle-rated ranges, so you can learn to become proficient and stay that way. The second location is the Franklin Range at 390 Southwind Drive. There you'll find 10 state-of-the-art shooting ranges equipped with automated target control and custom shooting stalls that provide a virtually private shooting experience. And as for the folks who work there, they pride themselves on hiring folks with the expertise to advise experienced shooters, but those folks have the same kind of patience to guide those who are new to the 2A world. You're not going to find any attitude. You're not going to find any pressure. Gunsmithing back at the Nashville Range. If you're buying your first gun or adding to the collection, you'll find a wide selection of new and pre-owned firearms, suppressors, optics, apparel, and shooting accessories. Folks, for my money, this is the place where you buy, you train, and you learn to become a very good shot. So learn more. Just go to armoryranges.com. That's armoryranges.com. And please let them know that your friend and radio buddy, Brian Wilson, sent you.
It's 5 o'clock. I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. 82 degrees and that sun is back out after an overcast-filled day. And our Friday tomorrow should stay sunny. Complete weather forecast, latest traffic report upcoming in 5 minutes. We are following some breaking news here in Nashville. Police on the scene of the Nashville's Public Library in Bordeaux have reported a shooting. Here's Channel 4's Danielle Jackson.
Well, this is a very active investigation, and Metro Police say 2 people were shot this afternoon inside of the Nashville Library here. This is the Bordeaux branch. I'm going to step out of the way. There's such a large police presence here. We've also seen several team members of the SWAT team here and outside of the library. Now, we're told that 2 people were shot, both with non-life-threatening injuries. 1 person was shot in the foot. We're not sure where the other person is shot. And as you can imagine, this is still an ongoing investigation.
Some crime here in Tennessee. Channel 4 says that the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, along with the ATF, arrested a man who was in possession of explosive chemicals. 30-year-old Levi Flatt posted a video online saying, quote, "Hey, ATF, let me know if this is legal. A pound of tannerite, a pipe bomb, and a wine bottle full of diesel," end quote. And later that same day, 2 ATF agents followed Flatt as he drove a white van to Walmart. He purchased a propane tank there. They later pulled him over, fearing that he was headed to the Putnam County Fairgrounds. And in that search of the van, they found 3 pipe bombs, 2 Molotov cocktails, a handgun with tampered serial number, approximately 160 rounds of ammunition, a flak jacket, along with a shield. Flatt is being held without bond and is scheduled to appear in court on August 16th. The U.S. Supreme Court today temporarily blocked Purdue Pharma's plan to emerge from bankruptcy. Aaron Katursky tells us the court wants to hear argument over the plan's liability shield for the Sackler families.
Purdue Pharma hoped to emerge from bankruptcy a new company, free from the stigma of the nation's opioids epidemic that it helped to cause. The plan would provide billions of dollars to help cities and states cope with the rash of overdoses and overdose deaths, but would also shield descendants of the company's founders, the Sacklers, from any future liability claims. The Biden administration has balked, and the Supreme Court has now agreed to consider whether the law allows the Sacklers to be immune from lawsuits, even though it's their company, not the individuals filing for bankruptcy.
And in Hollywood, looks like writers and studios are going to try talking again with another meeting set for tomorrow. Jason Nathanson.
Representatives for the studios reached out to the Writers Guild negotiators for more talks Friday. That according to the WGA in a letter sent to members Thursday. They say they expect the AMPTP to provide responses to WGA proposals outlined in a meeting last Friday, which was their first since the strike began. The strike, which hit the milestone of 100 days on Wednesday. According to both sides, last week's talks weren't exactly productive. Don't expect the strike to end anytime soon. But the fact that they're meeting again is encouraging to some.
And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Fur, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
It is 7 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock. Good afternoon, everybody. Brian Wilson in the chair. I'd like to say thank you to Des Dickerson for filling in for me yesterday while I underwent a little procedure. I am no longer going through life half-hearted. Well, I mean, I'm not going through it full-hearted yet, but I mean, I'm making progress in the right direction.
About three-quarter hearted?
I got about three-quarter hearted, I think,
Not bad.
No, I care deeply, and you know that. But I've got a great story to tell about yesterday and about the shenanigans that went on. I mean, you would think, I'm in there, they're dealing with my heart here. Now, it's not like cracking me open and doing the whole, open chest surgery. It's not that. It's just, trying to get my rhythm going in the right direction so that my heart's not working against itself. But you would think that would be a somber and sober moment, but apparently not for Cabana Wife. And if you have not heard what she did to me as I came out of surgery, well, I think you want to hang around because we'll get to that in just a short while. She's ornery, that Cabana Wife. She's not, I mean, when you say ornery, I know what that means from a Texas standpoint. I think it means sort of rascally.
Mischievous,
not really mean.
Yeah.
But she's ornery. She's ornery. Well, I tell you, she's ornery. We'll get to that in a minute. I think we want to start with some 2024 and get that going because we got a lot of 2024 news to talk about. I think you know that one of the few things that I've been willing to stick my neck out over as I look at this unusual election season that we're going through and make a prediction, and the only prediction that I have made is that I do not believe that Joe Biden will ultimately be the nominee for the Democrats. I mean, and I said to you, I'm not sure how it will reveal itself. I'm not sure how it's all going to unfold, but I just, as somebody who understands and has followed politics for a long, long time, I just can't believe they're going to stick him out there as their nominee, given the fact that the man seems to be, not in possession of his faculties. Let's put it that way. So, what's going to happen? Well, if only there were somebody else who felt this way. Well, there is. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu said Tuesday, there is a good chance President Biden will not be on the ballot in the 2024 general election, and predicted how events might unfold to lead that scenario. Here is Chris Sununu talking just about that very thing.
I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I think there's a greater than 50% chance he's not on the ballot come November of 24. And you're going to see two things happen. Either he's going to go through the primary process effectively unchallenged. A year from now, he's going to collect all the delegates. His health is not going to be good. He can always use that as a reason to step out and basically tell all of his delegates to go for somebody else and kind of be the kingmaker. It wouldn't be unheard of for the Democrats to try to manipulate their convention that way. They've done that before. And the other opportunity is somebody comes in this fall. Now, I think if an opponent were to challenge him this fall, it's probably going to be a self-funder. It's probably going to be somebody with a little bit of name ID nationally and maybe even someone who isn't a politician. I don't think any of the Democrat governors are going to stand up and do it this fall. They're probably just hoping to be coronated by Joe and Jill Biden next summer. But I'm predicting probably at least one, if not two people still jump in this fall, challenge him right here in New Hampshire and make a run at it.
And he's not mentioning any names, but isn't it interesting that he said, look, it's going to have to be somebody who can come in and, could have, self-funding. So it's got to be somebody of means or somebody who, around whom people could rally very quickly to raise funds if he doesn't have a lot of money. And he said it would probably not be a politician. It could be somebody outside the world of politics. I think that's all very possible. Look, Democrats, real dyed-in-the-wool party Democrats, people who have been active in the process, are going to be very reluctant to go against Joe Biden. It's one of those things that's not done. Seems disloyal. But, I mean, it might happen if he continues to look weak. And I think we're just like, one bad stumble from having him, having this happen. Somebody will emerge, and I think that person very likely might not be from the world of politics, but somebody will emerge. And Sununu, I think, has it right. By the way, Sununu, New Hampshire governor, a Republican, and he's a pretty sharp guy, knows a lot about it. Not absolutely sure, but he said greater than a 50% chance. That's sort of where I'm at. I don't think there's going to be a Joe Biden on the ballot in November. I just don't. So we'll see if Chris Sununu and I are right about this or whether somebody else is. This is something that could cause a real problem. Joe Manchin. Now, Joe Manchin, West Virginia Democrat, he's not going to win re-election because a very popular Republican governor is going to run against him. And this is a state where I think 70% of the people in the state voted for Donald Trump. It's probably one of the strongest red ruby states that there are. Manchin can't run for re-election. A Republican governor is going to challenge him. Don't think he's going to win that against a Republican governor who's very popular. So what does he do? From justthenews.com, Manchin, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin said Thursday he is thinking seriously about leaving the Democrat Party and becoming an independent before the 2024 election. I'm thinking seriously. For me, I have to have peace of mind, basically, Manchin, who previously described himself as an independent Democrat, told West Virginia radio host Hoppy Kercheval. I want a nickname like that. I want Hoppy Kercheval. This is where he goes to make all his big announcements. Well, I got a big announcement can I get on Hoppy's show today? Hoppy Kercheval. The brand has become so bad, the D brand, the R brand in West Virginia, the D brand, because it's the national brand, not the Democrats in West Virginia, it's the Democrats in Washington. You heard me say it a million times, I'm not a Washington Democrat. Manchin also said he'd been thinking about leaving the Democrat Party for some time, but has not made any decisions about his political direction as yet. The comments come amid rumors that Manchin will launch a third-party bid for the presidency in 2024. All right. So you got let's assume it's Donald Trump. And for the sake of argument, though I don't think he'll be there, let's say it's Joe Biden for the Democrats. Who does Manchin pull from? Does he pull from, I don't know where he pulls from. I mean, that's a hard one to predict. Would he hurt the Republicans more than the Democrats? I don't know. Manchin's, a pretty shrewd politician as that goes. And I don't know that he can win, but I mean, when you have now, okay, instead of having, who gets 50% of the vote, it's who gets 34% of the vote, right? That's what you need. A president can be elected with much smaller margins. And so it gets a bit more complicated and a bit more difficult to try to explain. Here's a second story about that. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin said he's thinking seriously about leaving the Democrat Party, declaring himself an independent before the 2024 election, says thehill.com. And he's, again, talking to Hoppy. I'm thinking seriously. For me, I have peace of mind. Pressed by Kercheval, the host of Talkline, whether he's really serious about becoming an independent, Manchin said, I would think very seriously about that. I've been thinking about that for some time. I haven't made any decision whatsoever on my political direction. I want to make sure that my voice is truly an independent voice. When I do speak, I want to be able to speak honestly about basically the extremes of the Democrat and Republican Party that's harming our nation. I mean, if you're out there and you go, okay, I'm Joe Manchin, and, a pox on both of their houses, let's try something different. Is there a part of the electorate that would resonate with? I think, I don't know, I think it might. Now, how much of it and who it hurts from and who it draws more from, I don't know that I can tell you that, but I can tell you it would be more difficult to predict. Now, Trump. Trump is, we got this big debate on Fox on the 23rd, is it 23rd? the 23rd of August. And the question is he going to participate? And as is often the case with Donald Trump, he sort of thinks out loud. And here he is talking to Eric Bowling from Newsmax about all that. And he seems to be running, I mean, he's just sort of talking it out in his own head. See where you think he is at the end of all of it.
At least 2/3 of the people don't want you to do the debate because they feel it could be a setup. Are you concerned about Fox setting
Well,
up?
when you're at 75, 78, 80%, and other guys are at 0, 1%, 2%, 3%, you do say, what's the upside? Am I going to go up 1 point? But they could go up. You know, they're not dumb people. They're senators. They're governors, they're intelligent people. You have some very good people. I think you have some very good people, and you have some people. I mean, I have a problem with the debate for another reason. I wouldn't sign the pledge. Why would I sign a pledge? There are people on there that I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have certain people as, you know, somebody that I'd endorse. So they want you to sign a pledge. But I can name 3 or 4 people that I wouldn't support for president. So right there, there's a problem, okay? Right there, there's a problem.
Can I ask
but I don't have to use that.
Right now,
no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. There's no reason to insult them. But there are some people there that a lot of people wouldn't endorse, but they wouldn't be right. They're not going to go anywhere, by the way. They're not going to get it. But I
So
wouldn't
the
endorse
RNC
it.
said that's one of the requirements for, so you won't sign it.
Well, they have 3 or 4 people that I wouldn't, you know, who would put these people as president? If you ever put these people as president, but you'll get somebody else. There'll be somebody. But right now, I saw Kristi Noem, who's terrific. She's done a fantastic job. I watched her this morning. She was on television. They asked her, are you going to run? Because there are other people running. Are you going to run? She said, no. Why aren't you going to run? Because nobody can beat Trump. She said it, which I greatly respect. I mean, she's saying, I hope the truth. She said, why would I run? Nobody's going to beat Trump. There's not even a contest. These people are just wasting their time. Somebody like Asa Hutchinson, who's polling at 0, will ask me nasty questions. Somebody like Chris Christie is polling at 1%, and he's going to ask me nasty questions, and others too. And then you have some that are very good. I mean, Tim Scott has been very nice, and Ramaswamy has been very, very nice. I mean, these are, you know, very capable people, very good people. But why would you do that when you're leading by so much? Ronald Reagan didn't do it. Nixon didn't do it. Many people didn't do it. And but I'm going to look at it very seriously. I'd like to do it. I've actually gotten very good marks on debating talents, but you want to be, you know, they want a smart president. They want somebody that's going to be smart. So we have to do the smart thing.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you that why would you do it? Christie and Pence both said you may not have the guts to come onto the debate.
Well, that's what people will say. They'll say, oh, he doesn't have the guts. He doesn't have the guts. I mean, I did CNN town hall. That was about as hostile as you can do. I did very well because, you know, I did so well that they fired the head of CNN over that debate. But no, it's not a question of guts. It's a question of intelligence. And I'm going to make a decision. I haven't, you know, totally ruled it out. I would love to do it in many ways because I sort of enjoy that. But we'll let people know next week.
Well, I mean, is he going to be there or not? No, I don't think he's going to be there. It's dumb for him to be there. He's got the numbers. He's got the lead. He's 30, 40 points ahead of DeSantis, and there's just no percentage in it for him. But, you know, it's interesting to listen to him sort of run through all of his thinking about that. On one hand, on the other hand, on one hand, on the other hand. But at the end of the day, he doesn't show up. 21 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk. Let me tell you about Busy Bee HVAC. Listen, if you've got a problem with your air conditioning this time of year, you don't want to wait around. You don't want to swelter. You don't want to be uncomfortable. Just call this number, 615-775-7833. They will buzz right over to your hive, and they'll get right on it, okay? Now, you should think about becoming a member of the Beehive Club. For as little as $99, you get 3 thorough maintenance services on your systems. One aimed at heating, one aimed at cooling, and one aimed at plumbing. No overtime charges 24/7 and 10% off all repairs. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is your official Rude Pro partner. So for satisfaction guarantee, why don't you call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling? Here's the number, 615 775-7833. And if you want to look and find out all the things they can do for you, just go to their website online at busybhvac.com.
Following some ongoing breaking news at the Nashville Public Library after reports say 2 people have been shot inside that library. Devastation in Hawaii. Plus, the Academy of Country Music Honors just announced their first round of performers. That and more, 5:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Mac Morey is in the newsroom. Chris Weber. We wanted to revisit this because it's a classic moment. It really is. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I had to go to the hospital. I've been dealing with a heart issue, and it's really not one of these things where they got to crack you open, but I had an irregular heartbeat, and they're trying to make it more regular. As these heart things go, it's not that big a deal, but they have to do this, they have to do what they call a map and zap. And they got to put you under. Now, first thing that happens, of course, is the bikini wax as they come in and prepare you for your surgery. Then what they're going to do, I'm not going to tell you about all the things they do, but they then run this catheter up into your chamber of your heart, and they find the little cells that are causing your heart to go wonky and beat in a wonky way.
Yeah.
And then they zap them with microwaves. It's sort of a little painful. No, I didn't feel a thing actually, because I was out. And on that note, You know, you would think when you come out of the surgery that your dear and devoted wife would just be, just happy that you made it out, but no, Cabana wife, because she's ornery and just a little rascally, decided that she would record conversations with me while I was still under the effects of anesthesia. And it sounded a little something like this.
Okay, I want to turn on the side.
1:45 is when I'll sit. Okay.
All right. So all I really wanted to do was turn on my
Anything to
side.
say, Brian? What?
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side. Are you going to take me to the beach?
Yeah.
When?
Whenever.
Whenever? You going to buy me a diamond ring?
Sure.
Sure. When are you doing that?
And if that diamond ring don't shine, maybe it's gonna buy you
A what?
I don't know.
You don't know. You forgot the words? We'll have to work on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I forgot was I was trying to sing the words to Mockingbird by James Taylor and Carly Simon. And there's a line in there that said that if that diamond ring don't shine, it surely will break this heart of mine. And
should have remembered that.
Now, well, not when you're under anesthesia. You can't remember everything. And she got two promises out of me: a beach trip and a diamond ring. And then I found out. By the way, she just walked in.
Mm-hmm.
She came in here to get the dog. Cabana wife is here with me now, and Cabana wife, come in a little closer here to the bucolic Watertown microphone, and tell me, is it true that you have other recordings?
I think 4 or 5.
Oh. And can you tell me, are there other promises that I have made?
I will not disclose that at this time.
All right. I think I'm in trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
Those are the good ones, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm going to have a conversation because yesterday, I came back, I just took it easy, and she said, I'll send it to you later. I didn't see this until today.
Yeah.
And so, I just want to say, I got mapped and I got zapped. Did we get everything that we wanted to get done out of the surgery? No, there's a little more work to do, but a real successful surgery in any regard. And now, I next time I know that, when I come out of surgery, if I ever have to go through this thing, don't answer any questions.
Yeah.
All I really wanted was I just wanted to roll over on my side.
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side.
That's all I really wanted out of the whole thing. I mean, I would have been a happy camper. I'd been laying on my back for like 5 hours, and all I wanted to do was take the pressure off my back and just roll over on my side.
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll find out later what the other things are that I have apparently promised. Right now, it's 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7.
It's 5:30. I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. 81 degrees right now in Nashville. Complete forecast, latest traffic report on the way in 5 minutes. Following ongoing breaking news, Metro Police are on the scene of a shooting at the Nashville Public Library in Bordeaux. Here's Channel 4's Danielle Jackson.
Now, we're told 2 people were shot inside of this library this afternoon. 1 person was shot in the foot. We're unsure where the other person was shot, but we're told from police that they both suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Now, as for the suspects, police are in the area searching for who's responsible for this shooting. And just moments ago, we've seen police John Drake just arrive on the scene.
And we'll keep you updated with ongoing information right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Over to some devastation in Hawaii, in Maui, and on the Big Island after at least 36 people have died in wildfires. The fire spread quickly thanks to trade winds and dry air, and it led to residents and tourists having to leave at a moment's notice. Homes and businesses in the town of Lahaina completely destroyed, some people even jumping into the water to escape those flames. Here's more than 270 structures were destroyed or damaged. And Melissa Adon is in Maui and says that residents are trying to take shelter wherever they can get it.
These are lines and lines and lines of cars of people waiting. Many of them either just residents, some of them wanting to check on their homes, check to see if their animals survived, check to see if their neighbors made it. And the only people that are going through are those that are in the search and rescue mode to, of course, ensure that they can find aid to people that are maybe need medical attention.
And President Biden today approved a federal disaster declaration for Hawaii. And the Academy of Country Music Honors being held at the Ryman Auditorium on August 23rd. The first round of performers just got announced. Here are a few of them: Brandy Clark, Jordan Davis, Chris Jansen, Emily Shackleton, Keith Urban, The Warren Treaty, and Trisha Yearwood. The honor show will celebrate previous winners as well as the Artist Songwriter of the Year. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather on the way. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing a show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Fur, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
Let me tell you about Grace Point Healthcare. Delivers medicine affordably with menu-style transparent pricing, so you know how much the care will actually cost before it's delivered. Smart Care plans, they start at just $69 a month. And let me tell you, this is a good deal. Think about this. You get unlimited office visits and free basic labs for the entire year. Because they treat the whole family, even newborns, they do offer family plans as well. Now, you marry this with a high deductible insurance plan, could save you and your family hundreds of dollars. At Grace Point, they take their time with each patient. They see you the same or next day. There are no long wait times or crowded waiting rooms. They treat naturally whenever possible. It is a military vet-owned practice. Just some of the reasons why it's been voted the best primary care provider by Toast of Music City year after year after year. Grace Point Healthcare on Main Street in Franklin. Here's the number, 599-6868. That's 599-6868 to schedule a visit. 38 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock. You know, I still have some questions. I don't understand why there are markings on my feet. This is apparently part of what they do. And, you know, they're very nice down at St. Thomas. You know, I went down to St. Thomas Midtown, and they were very nice. Took good care of me. Great there in the cardiac ward. And again, I don't want you to think that this is a serious thing. This is, as heart issues go, this is, you know, not one of the big ones. By the way, in fact, I just so you know, I'm not going anywhere. They did an MRI of my heart, and it's very strong. It just beats weird.
Yeah.
I have rhythm. No, I don't. Apparently, I'm out. That explains why I can't stay in time with my music. My heart is all wonkety.
Maybe if they get it all squared away, you'll be able to play guitar better.
Maybe so. I mean, you know, that would be something. That would be really good.
A bonus.
You know, I would take. That'd be a bonus. But you know, they were very nice, and my thanks to all the. I did. Apparently, I did not let this thing go about wanting to roll over on my side.
Oh, you kept asking, huh?
I want to roll over on my side, and then it got more and more adamant.
They bring out the straps.
I don't know what they did, you know, but I did when I got to the car. You know, they roll you out, you know, and put you in the car, and put you in the wheelchair, and they take you out to the car. And I turned to the lovely nurse who had been working with us throughout the morning, and I said, "If I was a little rude to you, please accept my apology." And she said, she just smiled. Apparently, people are pretty crotchety when they come out of that stuff.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So as a rule, but I did apologize because, you know, I don't want to be the guy. What a jerk that guy was. No, I just wanted, can I just say, honestly, I didn't want much out of life at that particular moment. I really didn't. I just simply wanted to roll over on my side. I wanted them to just let me roll over on my side.
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side.
Oh, my Lord. But anyway, I'll let you know. Good. It's good. It's all good, or as good as it can be right now.
Well, good.
All right. I want to talk about a couple of breaking stories. Number one, apparently we have reached a deal with Iran. The Biden administration has reached a $6 billion deal to free Americans. Or are they free? Listen to John Kirby talking about the status of the deal earlier this afternoon.
There are 5 of them. Not all of them want to be named, but they are now out of Evin prison. In fact, one of the 5 already was under house arrest, but we got 4 moved into house arrest today. We have been able to, through our Swiss representatives, get eyes on them, know that they are in fact in house arrest and out of prison, which is a good thing. And now we're going to do what we can to look after their health and well-being as best we can. So when they come home, we don't know. I mean, they are out of prison, which is a good thing because Evin prison is pretty intolerable, but they're not out of Iran yet. So we're still really at the beginning of a set of negotiations to try to get them home.
Hold it. We had to spend $6 billion to get to a point where...
So when they come home, we don't know.
We don't know. We don't have any idea when they're going to come home. We're just beginning those negotiations. Well, just to begin the negotiation cost us $6 billion taxpayer dollars. So, I don't know. Apparently, it was the unfreezing of Iran's assets in South Korea and then transferring those funds into an account at the Central Bank of Qatar. And they have the names of some of these people, Siamak Namazi, Imad Shargi, Murad Tabaz, who the U.S. government says were all wrongfully detained on bogus spying charges. Okay, fair enough. But, you know, are we spending $6 billion to be in a position where we basically are saying, well, you know, they're at least in house arrest, but they're not free?
So when they come home, we don't know. I mean, they are out of prison, which is a good thing because Evin prison is pretty intolerable, but they're not out of Iran yet. So we're still really at the beginning of a set of negotiations to try to get them home.
All right. Well, we'll keep you advised of that. But, you know, listen, I smell a rat, and we'll see how it all turns out. I hope for the best. I want these people out of there. If we can get them out of there. I don't like paying $6 billion for the release of people who were held improperly. What's the old thing Reagan said? We're not gonna negotiate with hostages. But apparently they have. We're not gonna negotiate with terrorists. I'm sorry, not hostages. You can negotiate with hostages, just not terrorists. All right, and then let's talk about the economics of the day. Joe Biden has been traveling around the country talking about the wonders of Bidenomics. And all I can wonder is, why is he talking about Bidenomics? It's a disaster. And so you got Karine Jean-Pierre, who's over there at CNN making an appearance with an anchor by the name of Victor Blackwell. And he starts asking some pretty hard questions, and she doesn't really answer them. You get a lot of round in circles and a lot of Washington speak, but why in the world would you go out there and tout Bidenomics when all of the polls show that people don't think you have a very good understanding of how to handle the economy?
Hey, let's talk about why you and the president are there out west. You're talking climate, but also economy. And the latest CNN poll out just days ago showed that Americans are pretty sour on the state of the economy. They think it's in a downturn or getting worse. About half of respondents. The president's approval rating for his handling of the economy is at 37%, 30% on inflation specifically. From the White House perspective, why is there disparity between the good story, the narrative you think you have to tell, and how it's received by the American people?
All right, for a CNN anchor, that's a pretty good question. I'll have to give him that one. It really gets to the meat of the matter.
So a couple of things, Victor. Look, as we know, polls don't show everything. They don't tell the full story, as you just stated. And we have to remember, if you look at where we were back in the fall of 2022 during the midterm elections, when the president delivered a historic midterms for Democrats, when we think about how, as a Democratic president, he delivered a victory that we hadn't seen in decades, right? And he led that messaging throughout those months going into November. And we are in a stronger position now than we were back then in the fall. And so that is important to note. Look, there's a lot going on in this country, and we understand that, Americans are coming out of a pandemic. We're dealing with a lot when you think about the economy. But here's the thing. This is a president who has spent the last 2 years turning the economy around. You hear us talk about Bidenomics. You just mentioned how we're doing this West Coast swing, talking directly to the American people about how wages are actually going up, about how inflation is.
Well, hold it. Wages are going up, but not keeping up with the rate of inflation. Just sorry, have to say that.
Going down over a long, extended period of time, more than 12 months. That is important. Consumer confidence is up. And so when you see unemployment is lower than 4%, that has been steady for some time, this is what we are going to talk about. This is why the president is going out there. It's going to talk directly to the American people to have that conversation. Again, polls don't tell the entire story.
Well, but they tell a lot of the story, and you know what really matters is not what you think. It's where people are living, and when you have numbers that suggest that the 37% of people, only 37% approve of your handling of the economy, that's essentially Democrats. The Democrats are just standing by you because, well, they're Democrats and they will stand by you. You don't even have all the Democrats when you start talking about 30% on inflation. Only 30% of those in America believe that the president has a good, handle on inflation. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And maybe what they're doing is trying to get out there and find this little narrow window where they can talk about the economy. Or maybe it's Joe Biden just simply saying, I feel like we have a better story to tell than's getting out there. But if he's right about that, then why wouldn't the polls suggest that people are noticing that? They're not. They're not noticing that at all. Here's what I think is going to happen. Yes, we've seen inflation come down a bit, but what was driving inflation when it was at 9%? What was making it just go through the roof? I'll tell you what it was. It was the high cost of oil, gas, diesel. We were spending a lot of money to get oil, gas processed, and at the pump it was very expensive. And that, there's nothing that rips through an economy like an increase in the price of your energy costs. Everything that goes to market, everything that goes to the grocery store, you walk down those aisles, a truck brought it there, or a train brought it there, or some, I don't know, some guy in his Lay's potato chip truck comes by. I mean, it all takes energy. When that energy, is expensive, do you think out of the goodness of your heart that the grocery stores are going to just sort of absorb that cost? No, they're not going to. They're going to pass it on. So the cost of energy causes the price of things to go up. That gets passed on to you, and then you start to feel pain. Now, during the midterm elections, what they did was they took oil and gas out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And they were able to, somehow bring the cost of oil and gas down. But it was all artificial. Well, they've done that. They stopped doing that in June. And now they've got to seriously start thinking about refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And it's going to be expensive to do that. And in the meantime, the price of oil and gas is going up again. If you've been to a gas pump lately, you know this. Chris, have you got the numbers there that tell us anything about where we are in Tennessee and where we are nationally?
Yeah, nationally we're at $3.82 a gallon. Here in Tennessee we're at $3.43 a gallon. That's down 5 cents from a week ago, actually. But over last month we're up 33 cents on average per gallon of regular here in the state of Tennessee.
And because the cost of energy is going to go up, that means that the cost of inflation and that will take hold and it will rise. So, look, I don't think that he should be out there talking about the wonder of Bidenomics. But okay, if that's what floats your boat. But I think it's important for us to point out, not everybody is noticing, Mr. President, just how good they have it. They're living their lives and they're paying their bills and they feel like they're a little strapped right now. 51 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock. All right, got some exciting news. Many of you have lived here a long time. You already know that Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee. It's been the place to take your European car for repair for the last 24 years. And we've all gotten to watch them grow. I don't know about you, but I love it when a hometown business takes off. We're now proud to announce the 5th location of Eurofix in Mount Juliet on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from the Dairy Queen. Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, in 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now the 5th location, Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small-town mechanic starting in a barn in the backyard of his single-wide trailer grow to 5 locations, repairing thousands of cars each month. At Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. So just call this number, 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or visit myEurofix.com.
Hey folks, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the biggest decisions people have to make in retirement is how to take Social Security. You'll get all kinds of workshops about that, and you'll see all kinds of things about that particular topic. Because Social Security, for some people, it might be a third or even more of their income in retirement. So you want to get this decision right. Well, how do you make the decision? Well, one of the things we look at, there are programs we use. This is one of the simpler programs that we use right here. And I want to just show you how it works and how it actually unravels some of the misconceptions we have about Social Security. So we have 2 people here, they're age 60, and they're looking at filing for Social Security. One person has a retirement benefit of $2,500. That is their main benefit from Social Security at their full retirement age. The other one has a $500 benefit. And what we can do here, which is kind of cool, is look at this and say, okay, well, what if we have this person has that life expectancy and that person has that life expectancy there? And then what we do is we assume a certain cost of living increase in Social Security. what would be the optimal for taking the benefit where they get the most benefit or the most bang from their buck. And where we see the star, that shows that we would have the best benefit. Now, this is one person finally at age 67, the other person at age 70. Well, a lot of people think, well, I retire, I have to take Social Security at the same time that I retire, and that's not necessarily the case. As you can see here, one may take it at one age and one may take it at another, even though they're the same age right now. Now, the other thing we can do is say, well, what if I took it early? What if I took it at this particular age right here, where one person's 65 and the other one's 65? You can actually see how much it could cost in benefits. When we do this, we can see how much it might cost us and how much it might affect us negatively to do that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can play around the life expectancies, and we say, well, if this person lives to that age, now the cost is $187,000 in this particular example, taking it at that age right there. So you can see, based on your own life expectancy, and typically people will say, well, what did my parents live to, and come up with that type of data. So this is just part of the financial planning process that we use at Paul Winkler Inc. If you want to know more about what we do, you can get a free 15-minute phone call at our website, paulwinkler.com. We do financial planning, full financial planning. We do investing education and investing. We actually help people through those decisions, helping them set up their 401ks and those types of decisions, as well as risk management. But we don't get paid on commission. That's what makes us so different from other firms out there that do what we do. So if you want to find out more, go to paulwinkler.com.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price. That's right, the vault is open and Genesis is selling the finest handcrafted rings at rock-bottom prices now for a very limited time. The GIA, of course, is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality so you can buy with confidence. Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, from a half-carat to 20-carat stones, all shapes, rounds, radiants, pear shapes, princess cuts, you name it. There's never been a better time to get an extra value price on a GIA-certified diamond perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for the best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Extravaganza. Save an extra 20% on these rare, precious diamond rings. Now for a limited time, one per customer, please. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. 83 degrees today, mostly sunny, and it should stay that way tomorrow. Forecast, latest traffic report upcoming in 5 minutes. 2 people were shot inside of the Nashville Public Library in Bordeaux this afternoon. Don Aaron, the director of the Police Department Media Relations Office, gave some additional details.
Shortly after 3 o'clock, 5 teenagers entered the library. 3 went into the men's room, while 2 others appeared to act as lookouts. We know this from the surveillance footage inside the library. While the 3 were inside the restroom, it appears that at least 2 of the 3 were armed and shots were fired. One of the teens was shot in the groin, the other was shot in the foot. The teen shot in the foot ran from the building, went up the hill here in the back, up in the grassy area, where he stopped and aid was rendered to him there.
That teen that was shot in the groin was helped by a staff member who heard the gunfire. Right now, police are trying to identify the other teenagers there. They have 1 of the 5 detained and no reason yet for this shooting. In the United States, suicide deaths are climbing. Dave Packer.
New CDC provisional estimates showing suicide deaths climb for the second year in a row after declining in the previous 2 years, rising to 49,449 deaths last year, a more than 2.5% increase from the year before. The biggest increase, people in the 45 to 64 age range. In a statement released with the report, the leaders of HHS, the CDC, and the Surgeon General all warning of an American mental health crisis. If you're experiencing suicidal, substance use, or other mental health crises, call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline or go to 988lifeline.org.
Crime in Tennessee. News 2 says that a former Metro officer has been awarded $300,000 after revealing she had been sexually harassed for years in a lawsuit. She began working there in 2015 and said she experienced harassment immediately when another officer was looking through her phone for, quote, naughty pictures. She detailed that she was told to keep quiet and not report harassment, and once she did, the officer reported again started to file his own reports in retaliation, and she was then suspended for 4 days. That woman's lawsuit has had more than 36 allegations of sexual harassment. And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Furr, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris, and if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
It is 7 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy, in for one more hour, and then we hand it over to Mark Levin, the great one. Just settle back. We'll get you home. We'll hopefully give you some information. We'll give you something that you can take to the dinner table to initiate a scintillating conversation.
Scintillating? Wow.
Yeah, scintillating. Yep. Maybe you can, have a good laugh over Cabana Wife. Taking advantage of me under anesthesia. That was
Brian's in. Oh, turn over my side.
I mean, come on. I'm coming out of 4 hours under anesthesia, and and your everything is blurry, and all I want to do is I want to roll over on my side.
What?
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side.
Huh?
She says, huh? Which is something I say a lot. And
I want to turn on my side.
You cannot turn on your side.
Turn over on your
Are you going
side.
to take me to the beach?
Yeah.
When?
Whenever.
Whenever?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I'm going to get a break on some of those promises. I really do. Got some stories here, kind of interesting. I think this is interesting. How many times have they told you trust the science? Especially Anthony Fauci always telling you, I am science.
I represent science.
I represent science, and so trust me, trust the science. This is a fascinating story from the nationalpulse.com. The number of scientific papers retracted annually rose from just 40 in 2000 to almost 5,500 in 2022. Wow, 22 years, that's a big jump, representing a whopping 13,650% change over the past 22 years. With researchers estimating an astonishing 100,000 would have to be withdrawn every year with a more thorough vetting. Delivering a blow to the Trust the Science cheerleaders, Retraction Watch's co-founders Ivan Oransky and Adam Marcus detail the alarming issues with modern science for the left-wing Guardian newspaper. The surge in bogus papers is driven in part by the fact that scientists are often required to publish papers in order to earn and keep their jobs or be promoted, which leads some to turning in so-called paper mills that sell everything from authorships to entire manuscripts to researchers who need to publish tests lest they perish. Only about a fifth of retractions are the result of honest error, Oransky and Marcus note, highlighting serious misconduct cases such as that of Joachim Bolt, a German anesthesiologist, whose falsified data on an ineffective blood substitute was once widely cited and led many people to being harmed. A related issue is the so-called replication crisis. It's become increasingly apparent that the results found in many scientific papers, possibly a majority of them, cannot be reproduced by other researchers. In 2015, for example, efforts to reproduce psychology studies published in a supposedly high-quality journal failed 61 out of 100 times, with similar results in 2018. The issue is also present in the hard sciences, and with efforts by the University of Virginia to produce 5 landmark cancer studies, failing in one case and producing inconclusive results in 2 others, hinting that the science may be mostly wrong across the border. I mean, that's not good. We have to have confidence in the process. We have to have confidence that all of this information that we're getting is somewhat reliable and has been tested by their peers. I mean, quite frankly, I'm at the point now. I mean, I used to have this test. If you wait long enough, you will find results on, for example, coffee. Coffee's good for you. Coffee's bad for you. Coffee's good for you. Coffee's bad for you. I mean, for years and years and years, people gave me unmitigated grief about using saccharin, or what I call sweet and low, the little pink packets. Why are you using that stuff? Well, that's what I was raised on. I like the taste of it, and I don't like my coffee without sweet and low. I don't like my iced tea without sweet and low. And I honestly, I just can't drink it without it. And people say, well, you're just killing yourself. You're just killing yourself. Well, then there was a study just the other day that said, you know what? No, saccharin's not that bad for you. In fact, it could be an antioxidant, which could be good for you. Who knows? But I'm telling you, if you just hang around long enough, you're going to find some paper will come out that you can glom onto and use it to justify whatever it is you want to justify. I think it really is something that we're hearing more and more of. And when people say, well, trust the science, trust the science. How many times did they ask us to do that during COVID-19, during the pandemic? And how much of the stuff that they told us about COVID-19 over time has been found to be not true? So I'm not a big believer in this whole idea of, well, all you got to do is just follow the science. Again, I want to give you these statistics. A number of scientific papers retracted annually rose from 40 in 2000 to 5,500 in 2022, representing a whopping 13,650% change over 22 years. Something is wrong. That's going way in the wrong direction. And so, I'm just saying, take everything with a grain of salt. Except they'll tell you salt's not good for you. Or is it? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. And now, we talk often here on this program about AI, artificial intelligence, and how it is going to change the future. This has got to be one of the scariest stories that I've read about artificial intelligence. From thedailyfetched.com, artificial intelligence, AI, is becoming so advanced that it's able to listen to the sound of keyboard keys being typed and identify a password with almost 100% accuracy. Think about that for a moment. Just the sound of, that sound.
How is that possible?
I don't know, but it's,
wow.
That sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? I think it is. Just and it will know your password. Researchers programmed an AI computer system to listen as a person typed a password on a MacBook Pro keys over a phone and a Zoom call. The AI system began to recognize the individual sound of each key. Shortly after, the system was then able to identify the sound of each key with 95% accuracy over the phone and 93% accuracy over Zoom. When trained on keystrokes recorded on a nearby phone, the classifier received an accuracy of 95%, the highest accuracy seen without the use of a language model. Wow. The study has highlighted the potential risk for cyber attacks using technology. I mean, so, okay, you're on a Zoom call or you're doing, what is it, a Zoom call, 93%? Or if you're on the phone, you're just on the phone with somebody. Well, let me log in here and I'll check that for you. Somebody can go back and take that little recording and they will know your password with 95% accuracy. I mean, that's better than me. I can't do it with 95% accuracy. I mean, I have to type in my password 6 times, it seems, before I get it to take. Mainly because I'm a very sloppy typist.
That's really scary, though.
It is really scary, isn't it, when you think about that? That somebody is using AI. There's so many. What did I see the other day with AI? It's like this beautiful girl is being used as, one of those TikTok influencers, and she's just remarkably beautiful. Everything about her is just, perfection. And turns out she's not even real.
Huh.
She is something that the AI computers dreamed up.
Wow.
And she and so you look at the pictures and you can't tell. You honestly can't tell. The whole era that we're going into with artificial intelligence is going to make us wonder about everything. Okay, can you teach a computer with using artificial intelligence to replicate somebody's voice, their cadence, their delivery? Yeah, you can. Can you come up with a really convincing video image of them doing stupid stuff that they never did? Absolutely, you can do that now. They're taking AI and they use it to make Harrison Ford look younger. That seems pretty innocent compared to some of the other things that could be done. And as we head into the next election season, I'm all but certain we're going to be trying to figure out, is that real or is that AI? Did somebody really say that? Is that really somebody talking, or is that something that the computers came up with? It's going to be a weird election cycle every step of the way. I love technology, and I can see where this can have, for example, you could go into, you could have a diagnostic computer that uses artificial intelligence. It would never be the final say on diagnosing somebody. But if you have a computer that develops a 95% accuracy rate, and, you put in all of the details about what a person is suffering from, and it gives you the diagnosis and then suggested treatments. Do you want a doctor checking that? Absolutely you do. Absolutely you do. But does that mean, is that going to mean that the computer gave the doctor an idea the doctor hadn't thought about? Absolutely that's going to happen. So it's a curse and it's a blessing. It's a curse and it's a blessing, but I'm not sure, which is the worst of it. Is the blessing the better part of it, or is the curse just so overwhelmingly bad that we're going to really rue the day that we allowed artificial intelligence to be used in so many different areas? I don't know. I can tell you that I used an artificial intelligence out of just curiosity to write something one time recently. And I looked at it and I said, well, that's just wrong. The information is wrong. It's not something that's correct. But was it written well? Yeah, it was written beautifully. Were all the commas in the right place? Yeah. Everything was grammatically correct. Is that the right word? Grammatically correct.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And you know, it sounded good. It's just that I happen to know that several things that were in that paragraph were just simply not true. So yeah, we're in the beginning of a new era. But listen to this, folks. With almost 100% accuracy, AI computers have been taught to listen to you typing on your keyboard. My passwords are never that long. And then it will be able to replicate that password with almost 100% accuracy. Get ready. It is, now I have to take all these letters that I typed up on my computer, dismiss them. It is now 20 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. Okay. If you're in the market for a pole barn, the brothers who run Stoltz Co., two guys you need to talk to. Exceptional quality, craftsmanship, and fair prices. They can build your new pole barn to your specifications with your needs in mind, and that is really the Stoltz Co. difference. You can use pole barns for all kinds of things. It can function as a classic tool and work barn, a garage, or even a place to live. Flexibility is the key. Now, what they do is they combine the classic post-frame barn look with the reliability of modern materials and techniques to give you a finished pole barn that will stand the test of time. They do not scrimp on quality. They do not cut corners. They believe their customers deserve only the best. Now, I'm going to recommend you go to their website, stoltzco.com. That's STOLTZCO.com. Take a look. Look at the different kind of things that they have done in the past. And I think you're going to look and you're going to be quite impressed. And I think you're going to go, this ain't my granddaddy's pole barn. This is something new. This is something different. Then give them a call, 615-622-5992. That's 615-622-5992. Stoltz Co., where quality workmanship and great customer service is affordable. Or go to stoltzco.com. That's stoltzco.com. It is 25 minutes now past the hour of the 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I'm Brian Wilson, your friend and radio buddy. And, Byron York, I love Byron York over at the Washington Examiner, has a pretty interesting piece. You can find it at yourfarm.com if you want to look it up. It's there. He basically goes through and he says, excuse me, I'm so sorry. What is that? The Washington Examiner's Byron York rebukes Biden's denial of his son's business dealings over and over and over and over. In fact, there's a new little piece of sound from today where Joe Biden, that nice Peter Ducey is back from his paternity leave, and he's starting to ask hard questions of the leader of the free world again. And once again, Joe Biden makes, a pretty distinct claim, and calls it. By the way, it wasn't, but he calls it a lousy question. Here we go. This is Joe Biden talking to Peter Ducey.
There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
Never talk business in anybody. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's not true, he says. Well, I mean, does anybody believe that anymore? I don't. He goes through it and lays it all out. The idea that I never talked business with anybody, York said during appearance on Fox News. I mean, the Devon Archer testimony that really has demolished that. We have some documentary evidence that he also that it's just not true. And I think we saw Democrats after the Devon Archer testimony to the House begin to adopt a fallback position. Well, okay, they talked, but they never talked business. But the idea that the president was not in contact with his son's foreign business connections is simply not true. And he goes on to list all the other things that seem to point to the fact that the president of the United States was actively involved. I mean, we already have him lying so many times. And now the question is, is there anything out there that brings hard evidence that he received money directly? Well, they're in the process of that. A big bunch of new bank records and bank documents just came forward, and they're going to start going through those, and they're finding more and more LLCs, and they're finding more and more family members that are involved. You got James Comer saying that the family members of the Biden family, some of them will be subpoenaed. Now, I don't know that you're going to get much from them. I think they're likely to come in and plead the fifth, or they're going to, do whatever they can, but that's going to happen. Folks, there's nothing that I see on the horizon that suggests that this story is getting weaker. There is an awful lot of evidence that I've seen in the last few days that suggests that the evidence against Joe Biden is getting stronger. And so, hang on. We are in the midst of some very interesting times with the House Oversight Committee, the House Judiciary Committee, and others up on Capitol Hill. They're sending out these subpoenas. They're getting bank records. They're able to follow the records. They can trace the money. And the more they do that, and the more that happens, the more questions they have. The big question that I have right now is, we know that a lot of money went to family members. I mean, it's absolutely clear. Some went to Hallie Biden. Some went to Jim Biden. Some went to Hunter Biden. And then there's that one bank account out there that doesn't have a first name on it. It simply says Biden. We know that there was a quid pro quo with regard to the prosecutor in Ukraine. And I think there's some other things. Listen, the noose is getting tighter around these Bidens. And I think, again, I really do think we're not far from getting this thing locked up. 30 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk.
We are live at J Street Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Fur, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.
Let's talk about Everseal, and I think we start by explaining what it is. It's a sealant for your concrete or wood. It's actually been used for ages in industrial applications, and the folks at Everseal just figured out how to provide a permanent solution for sealing your exterior wood and concrete at a price that home and business owners can actually afford. Now, they start with a deep cleaning. They make your wood and concrete look just as good as it possibly can. And then they use their patented sealant to absorb all the way through your wood and concrete to become a permanent part of your wood and concrete, and it will prevent further deterioration for the next 30 to 50 years. Wow. I mean, honestly, think about how much money you'll save. You know, if you do your deck once a year, add that up. 2 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I mean, you can see how you could save a lot of money by doing it one time and then being done. And then there's the thing that you don't have to spend all that time doing it. You can actually enjoy your property instead of having to continually work on it year after year after year. If that sounds like something that catches your attention, why don't you reach out to Steve Nelson and the team over at Everseal? 1-844-EVER-USA. That's 1-844-EVER-USA. Learn more at ever-seal.com. Well, it would be 38 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. Brian Wilson in the chair for a few more minutes until we hand it over to Mark Levin, and he will carry on, as he always does, so ably. Got a whole compendium of things that I want to bring to your attention. We are not that far away from the 21st. We're going to have a special session of the General Assembly, and it's all designed by the governor to take on, the aftermath of the Covenant shooting. Now, I don't think we should be doing it. I've been clearly on record about that. Well, I'll just read you this story from WKRN. No path for meaningful gun reform emerging ahead of special session. And what this basically, no, I don't think that's bad, because I think that, my idea of what is meaningful gun reform and what Channel 2's idea of meaningful gun reform, I have a feeling they're a little bit different. But Governor Lee had wanted something known as an enhanced order of protection, which is essentially, according to Channel 2, not just me, a modified red flag law to separate weapons from dangerous people. Now, it sounds good to say you want to separate weapons from dangerous people, but it's a slippery slope when the government starts deciding who is dangerous and who is not. And so, the idea is, well, you're going to go before a judge. It's going to be really quick. We'll just, step in there and then we'll take you before a judge. Well, let's talk about the judges in Davidson County and how they feel about guns. And are they going to use any opportunity they can? I don't know. One way or the other, this bill that the governor wants is essentially DOA. It's not going anywhere. It's dead. So why, Governor, would you want to hold a session that only drives home the point that you can't get the thing you want? Listen, I think the governor's a good man. I think he's a good and decent and moral man, and I know his heart. He feels like he's in the right place. But this is a slippery slope, and it's dangerous when you start talking about these so-called red flag laws. Will there be some other things around the periphery that get passed? Yeah. But are they something that could wait until the January regular session? Yes, absolutely. I don't know. I just think it makes not a lot of sense to go into a special session which is aimed at trying to answer the tragedy of the Covenant shooter when we don't have any information as to what was motivating the Covenant shooter. We don't have the manifesto. We don't have, excuse me, we don't have the journals. We don't have any of that stuff. And I think, until we have some sense of that, why are we going down this pathway? It's like, well, we're in government and a tragic thing has happened and people feel bad and they feel like, well, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. The people expect us to do something. Well, the people expect you to make good decisions based on information. And we don't have the information. So, again, and it's going to be chaos because the Democrats are going to make it an S show. Can I say that? S show? You know what I'm saying. And here's an example. Likely U.S. Senate candidate Gloria Johnson promotes gun control bus tour ahead of special session. She's one of the Tennessee Three, of course. She's talking about making a bus tour ahead of the special session because, number one, she wants to make the case that we've got to do something about guns, and then she wants to also bolster her bid to become the next U.S. Senator from the state of Tennessee. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure Gloria Johnson's going to have a very tough role, beating Marsha. Don't know how that's going to happen, but she's apparently using this as an opportunity to enlarge her political standing on the state stage. Other news, an FBI memo that targeted Catholic groups apparently went well beyond one office of the FBI. This is pretty interesting. From the Washington Examiner, a controversial document issued by the FBI Richmond field office in January, taking aims at certain traditionalist Catholics tied in FBI offices in Portland and Los Angeles, according to a less redacted version of the document. Now, why is this important? Well, because Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, was on Capitol Hill, and he said, no, it was in one office, and I was aghast when I found out about it, and it was immediately withdrawn. Well, it wasn't just one. It wasn't just the Richmond office. This document was also, being looked at in Portland and Los Angeles. The version obtained by the Washington Examiner linked radical traditional Catholics to violent extremism and relied on a liaison contact in the Portland field office and information from the Los Angeles field office. Documents made headlines this year after it revealed that the Richmond office had assessed the threat presented by the so-called radical traditional Catholics and explored threat mitigation opportunities, such as engaging with certain churches in an attempt to persuade their leadership to work into working as tripwires, or basically, put it another way, sources for the FBI. FBI House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan called the new version of the document startling in a letter obtained by the Washington Examiner to FBI Director Christopher Wray. This new information suggests the FBI use of its law enforcement capabilities to intrude on Americans' First Amendment rights is more widespread than initially suspected and reveals inconsistencies with your previous testimony before the committee. Testifying before the committee in July, Wray called the document appalling and noted it was limited to the Richmond office and had been retracted. It was a single product by a single field office. Well, that's not true. Simply not true. As for a comment, a spokesperson for the Justice Department pointed to Wray's testimony in a letter he wrote later in July to Jordan on the matter. Again, I don't know. It seems to me there's some weird things going on within the FBI. I mean, Wray was supposed to come in there and straighten some of this stuff out. I don't think that he has. I think it's time. Honestly, I think it's time for us to seriously look at the FBI anew and decide whether, what we want the FBI to be, and maybe put some strictures on what the FBI can be. Because, they're out of control. And they are becoming an institution that is increasingly politicized, and not in a good way for Republicans, almost always politicized in favor of Democrats and never in favor of Republicans. With time ticking down, New York City Mayor Adams demands that Biden and the president declare a national emergency at the border and says that migrants may cost the city $12 billion. Oh, well, sorry about that. Really hate that for you. But wasn't it you? Weren't you among the people who said back in the day you were in favor of sanctuary cities? Should we look up the word sanctuary? Maybe we should just look that up real quick. See if we can get so that we're all in the same page. Sanctuary. All right. A place of refuge or safety. Sanctuary definition and meaning. It's a place of refuge and protection. And so there, that's what it's supposed to mean when you say, well, we're a sanctuary city. Come here. We will protect you. We will keep you safe from those Republican meanies who want to send you back. Don't worry about, if you're here legally or illegally. We're going to protect you. We're not going to tell the feds where you are. We're a sanctuary city. Well, that's fine until they get about 57,000 migrants. That's what they have right now in the city. 57,300 migrants, with an estimated 100,000 that will need service by June of 2025. Mayor Adams says this could that he needs to declare a national emergency because it may cost the city $12 billion with the B dollars. Well, that's money that should not come from you and me, should not come from the taxpayers. And if you want to retract that you were a sanctuary city, I think it's a little late for that. But that's how you ended up in this situation. You know, words have meaning, and when you say you're a sanctuary, which, you know, means a place where you can be protected, then, you know, either you mean it or you don't. Meanwhile, the Biden administration has increased migrant releases at the border yet again. Border policies crumble against another surge. You know, we haven't been down there with Bill Maloogian as much lately, and we haven't seen as much. But in Tucson, the station encountered several large groups of migrants over the weekend. The largest group, 533. The group consisted of single adults, unaccompanied children, and family units from 17 different countries. And so, you know, it's starting to happen again. It's not getting as much notice. And so now, because the Border Patrol is coming under pressure to deal with all these people, they have again loosened their regulations to allow more people to come into the country more quickly. They've allowed for more people to be handled by the Border Patrol. I'm just telling you, it's an unmitigated disaster. So there's that. I don't know how they're going to solve this problem, but I got to tell you, I don't really have a lot of sympathy for the sanctuary cities. How about you? You got any real sympathy for them? No, I didn't think so. 50 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk. Let's talk about Rhino Shield. One of the things I want to tell you is I often tell you, you know, this is the thing you need to do. Don't paint your house. Rhino Shield your house. Rhino Shield is 10 times thicker than paint. It's infused with special 3M ingredients, billions of microspheres that allow the coating to expand and contract, and that's why they offer a 25-year warranty against cracking, chipping, and peeling. Now, and then I often sometimes read you things from people who have had work done there. And, you know, that's glowing. Well, I'm going to tell you a personal experience. I have some good friends over at the house this last weekend, the Garretts, and they said that they had Rhino Shield come out after hearing my spot, and that they were absolutely thrilled with what had happened, that they had done a very good job, so much so that there are probably going to be a couple more jobs that they're going to send in the direction of Rhino Shield in the days ahead. I mean, okay, there you have it. Rhino Shield is the answer. If you want to paint your house, that's fine. But understand that if you paint your house, it's not going to be very long before you have to do it because paint cracks, it chips, it peels. You call the folks at Rhino Shield, you won't have to think about painting your house for another 25 years, a full quarter century. Why don't you reach out to Clay Morris and the folks at Rhino Shield? I have a great reputation. 615-474-1729. Learn more at rhinoshieldnashville.com.
Hey folks, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the biggest decisions people have to make in retirement is how to take Social Security. You'll get all kinds of workshops about that, and you'll see all kinds of things about that particular topic. Because Social Security, for some people, it might be a third or even more of their income in retirement. So you want to get this decision right. Well, how do you make the decision? Well, one of the things we look at, we use their programs we use. This is one of the simpler programs that we use right here. And I want to just show you how it works and how it actually unravels some of the misconceptions we have about Social Security. So we have two people here, they're age 60, and they're looking at filing for Social Security. One person has a retirement benefit of $2,500. That is their main benefit from Social Security at their full retirement age. The other one has a $500 benefit. And what we can do here, which is kind of cool, is look at this and say, okay, well, what if we have this person has that life expectancy and that person has that life expectancy there? And then what we do is we assume a certain cost of living increase in Social Security. what would be the optimal for taking the benefit where they get the most benefit or the most bang from their buck. And where we see the star, that shows that we would have the best benefit. Now, this is one person finally at age 67, the other person at age 70. Well, a lot of people think, well, I retire, I have to take Social Security at the same time that I retire, and that's not necessarily the case. As you can see here, one may take it at one age and one may take it at another, even though they're the same age right now. Now, the other thing we can do is say, well, what if I took it early? What if I took it at this particular age right here, where one person's 65 and the other one's 65? You can actually see how much it could cost in benefits. When we do this, we can see how much it might cost us and how much it might affect us negatively to do that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can play around the life expectancies, and we say, well, if this person lives to that age, now the cost is $187,000 in this particular example, taking it at that age right there. So you can see, based on your own life expectancy, and typically people will say, well, what did my parents live to, and come up with that type of data. So this is just part of the financial planning process that we use at Paul Winkler Inc. If you want to know more about what we do, you can get a free 15-minute phone call at our website, paulwinkler.com. We do financial planning, full financial planning. We do investing, education, and investing. We actually help people through those decisions, helping them set up their 401ks and those types of decisions, as well as risk management. But we don't get paid on commission. That's what makes us so different from other firms out there that do what we do. So if you want to find out more, go to paulwinkler.com.
We are live at J Street Free Grill and Bar. This was a fantastic experience. We're cooking everything in front of us right here at the table. We've had ribeye, J Street's famous steak. We had lemon pepper chicken. We had bulgogi. I'm probably butchering it, but I asked like 3 or 4 times how to pronounce it. So it's not for a lack of trying. But you need to try and get out here August 15th. We're going to have a live event, Super Talk Live. Brian Wilson's going to be doing his show. Me, Dan Mandis, Matt Furphy, Pamela Furr, Johnny B. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to cook at the table. We're going to talk politics. All you can eat food. And believe me, look at this spread. When they say all you can eat, it's all you can eat. So join us. Grab your tickets at 997WTN.com. Promo code Chris. And if you need help cooking your steak, I'm here for you. Let's do this thing together.